Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Good evening race fans and welcome back to NXTGEN Racing, live on YouTube, live on Facebook and live on Kick. You join us on Thursday night and specifically the GT3 League here at NXTGEN Racing in its 7th season. This is tonight, the penultimate round of the season. It's round 9 at Mosport and we've got plenty of action awaiting you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But first of all, a bit about the series. This is the 7th season of GT3 racing, as we mentioned. It's gone between GT3s and prototypes and multi-class racing. But this current GT3 championship features 10 GT3 cars, which we'll read through in total shortly. And it's Thursday night racing, as we mentioned. You can still get involved in this series if you wish to. There's pricing on the top right there. And it's a series open to all skills of drivers as well. Top tier drivers typically go into a gold tier category in this championship, and a silver category for middle tier drivers, and drivers with less experience go into the bronze category. If you scan the QR code on the lower left of our screen here, or click the link in the description if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can get access to NXTGEN Racing's Discord server. From there you get access to all the championships that NXTGEN host. You can sign up to them, you can also chat to the admins and also chat to the drivers. Here at NXTGEN Racing, we thank all the partners, sponsors and affiliates that help run the show here, and they include PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC and Doble Motorcycles. My name's Alex Everett, your commentator throughout this season and for the remainder of the season in the final 2 rounds of the season, which we're in right now. We've got round 9 coming up tonight, but we started off all of them months ago at the Misano World Circuit for round 1 of the championship in East Italy. Then we ventured west across the Atlantic to the Watkins Glen Circuit in New York State, and then over to Canada for our first of 2 trips in Canada for the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And the tracks that are on this schedule that are labelled with the gold star and the gold text are endurance rounds of the season, because there are alternating formats of racing in this championship, which I'll go through very shortly. Snetterton hosted round 4 of the championship, followed by Zandvoort in the Netherlands to see us out of the first half of the season. The second half of the season was reintroduced, with the Bathurst Mount Panorama Circuit hosting our second of 3 endurance rounds of the championship. 2 weeks ago from today was the Algarve International Circuit, aka Portimao, and last week was the second of 2 British rounds of the championship at Silverstone Grand Prix Circuit. Tonight we're back in Canada for the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, also known as Mosport. And next week is the final round of the championship, which will be a 2-hour singular endurance round, and it'll be hosted at Le Mans, of course. And the actual 24 hours of Le Mans is coming up very shortly as well, so it's very appropriate that we end our season there, just as the real-life Le Mans endurance is just around the corner. Now, as I mentioned, the gold text rounds are endurance rounds. They are singular 2-hour endurance rounds where the grids for those races are based on the championship order, but reversed for each category. Each category gets grouped together and the leader of the championship will start at the back of their category. Whereas in the white text rounds, they are sprint race and feature race formats, dual race formats on the night. The sprint race is 20 minutes and the feature race is 60 minutes. So there's all different formats in this championship test. The driver skills in sprint racing, but also strategy racing within the feature races and the endurance racings. These are the cars that the drivers can race in this championship. Basically, the premier tier of GT3 cars. They are the Acura NSX, the Audi R8, the BMW M4, the Chevrolet Corvette, the Ferrari 296, the Ford Mustang, the Lamborghini Huracan, the McLaren 720S, the Mercedes AMG, and the Porsche 911. And like I mentioned, we're here at the Mosport circuit in Canada. Not the most popular circuit in Canada, actually. Probably Montreal is the more popular circuit, and maybe Toronto City course that features in the IndyCar series. But speaking of Toronto, we're not actually that far from Toronto right here. We're in the Ontario state and we're only about 82 kilometres northeast from downtown Toronto, so really not that far at all. But Mosport is a track that's been on iRacing for a very long time, actually, and it is actually one of North America and Canada's oldest standing motorsport facilities, having been built in 1961. It features in the IMSA series each year, and it's a 2.5 mile or 4.1 kilometre circuit with 12 turns, 8 to the right and 4 to the left. It's not a very long circuit at all, but in actual fact, it's quite a short lap round here, actually, so it's going to be a little bit different for the drivers. It's only a 1 minute and 15 second lap, so it's one of our shortest laps on the calendar. But the one thing that Mosport you can rely on, or can't rely on, whichever way you think about it, is tyre wear. There's long sweeping corners and lots of elevation changes as well. There's lots of crests and downhill braking, lots of turning through dips through the corners and over the hills whilst turning and braking. Lots of that going on this circuit, and it means the tyres will take a beating on this circuit. The only real notable fast section of this track is the back straight, which is the Andretti straight. It's not really a straight either, but that is the fastest point on the track and might see some of the most overtaking opportunities tonight. It's going to be quite tricky for drivers to overtake, but we'll see how we get on. So tonight is the last of our sprint and feature race formats. It will be a 20 minutes qualifying session to set the grid for said sprint race, and that will take place in approximately 8 minutes time from now, and that will be a 20-minute session to set the grid. And then the sprint race will be a 20-minute race, no pit stops required. It is just a dash from the line to the checkered flag. And then we'll go for a quick break after the sprint race, and then we'll be back with the feature race, of which the feature race grid is laid out via the results of the sprint race, but each category, gold, silver and bronze, are grouped together and they will be reversed from the results of the sprint race. So the person who finishes first in their category in the sprint race will have to start at the back of their category for the feature race. So plenty of work for the drivers to do if they do well in the sprint race for the feature race. So what about the championship situation heading into tonight? Well, in actual fact, we'll start with the gold category first of all. But there's still plenty to play for in a lot of these championships here. Now, as we mentioned, there's split category racing here. So we'll start with the gold category. It is very much a championship that's still actually, mathematically, a 3-horse race. Benji McCluskey at the top of the standings leads the championship by 24 points. He leads the championship ahead of Stephan Wessels. Now, Stephan Wessels has had a brilliant turn of form in the last couple of rounds. In 3 of the last 4 rounds has actually outscored Benji McCluskey, but McCluskey matched Wessels last time out at Silverstone and heads into tonight with the 24-point gap that we mentioned. So it means that Stephan Wessels can close the gap a bit more before we get to Le Mans, but it's very much still in the hands of McCluskey. But a mistake from either of them could really tell the story for this gold category, so we'll see how they get on. Harry Langford is still in with a chance of winning the championship mathematically, albeit he's quite a long way off actually. You realistically need to be within 52 points of the top spot heading into the final round, and that is slipping away a little bit for Harry Langford. But we'll see how he gets on tonight. He comes into Mosport tonight as the most recent winner in the series. He won this feature race last time out at Silverstone. Ben Altria leaps up to 4th place, and of course drop rounds are implemented on an as it stands basis right now, and actually Ben Altria won a race some time ago, and that has really helped him in the championship, and it leaps him up to 4th in the standings. And 4th in the championship is actually a pretty big battle at the moment between Ben Altria, Mike Barber, Gaz Williams, who is 6th, and Jack Pittas, who is 7th. Very close between them 4, only 6 points between them, so it's all to play for between them. It is Jack Pittas who's lost the most since the last round, as he didn't have a good round at Silverstone, and actually the drop rounds has not helped him very much, as it slips him from 4th to 7th within a round. But let's see how these 4 drivers get on as they battle for the remainder of the championship, with just 3 individual races to go: a sprint race, a feature race and an endurance race. And to round off the top 10 in the gold category is Jamie Dory in 8th, Lucas Seedor in 9th position and Jesse Payne Wilkins in 10th. So what about silver category then? Well, this one's up for grabs as well. Now, technically, this is still a 4-horse race, but the third and fourth cars on our table here are not close enough to really pose a threat unless anything major happens, being bad to the top 2 spots. But in the top spot is Jeffrey Kruger leading the championship. He did not extend his lead last time out at Silverstone. He lost out a little bit, but he's still in control of the championship by 22 points from Matthew Cheverton. Now, Matthew Cheverton on Tuesday won 3 races in a row in the NXTGEN Blue Lobby, and he comes in tonight with some good form with a good round at Silverstone. He won the feature race, so let's see how he gets on tonight. Can he close the gap to Jeffrey Kruger, who has been in fine form this season? Matthew Addy is 3rd position. He'll battle for 3rd position pretty much for the rest of the season with Phil McDougall, who has won a race this season. He won the endurance round at Bathurst, and he comes in tonight chasing 3rd in the standings. Alan McCain is 5th with Nigel Stock in 6th. Jason Raff in 7th with George Stone in 8th. 9th position is Paul Williams, and 10th Ian Manners. Bronze category. Now, there are some updates still to be had in the standings, but in actual fact, right now we can actually crown a champion in the bronze category. Bronze category, Adam Wilson-Weir has now confirmed won the championship, as he is more than 98 points clear of Jonathan Berry, following an update that needs to happen to these standings. But also John Berry is not attending the sprint race tonight, so that means he's going to lose a lot of points in that sense. So Adam Wilson-Weir is our champion in the bronze category before we've even set foot on the track tonight. So a big congratulations goes to Adam Wilson-Weir, who's been truly dominant throughout the season in the bronze category. No one's had an answer to him all season. 7 wins, 4 of which in the sprint races, 2 in feature races, and 1 endurance win. And he is our bronze category champion. He joins names such as Jeffrey Kruger and Elwyn Sykes. But Jonathan Berry will very much keep it going to keep 2nd in the championship if he can, and he's going up against his teammate Rob Savage in 3rd position, just 20 points down at the moment, albeit this is pre-update to the standings. In 4th position is Gabriel Papaconstantino with Danny Switzer in 5th position. If he's racing tonight, which I don't think he is, which is a shame, it'll be home turf for him tonight. Stein Vatens is in 6th position with Mark Sykes in 7th, Simon Hunt in 8th, Michael Evangeli in 9th, and last season's champion Elwyn Sykes tied 9th place but in 10th. And the team's championship, I would say this is very much up for grabs still, because there's actually only 29 points excuse me, between CSA Team Woza and Mission R powered by Moors. Now, Mission R powered by Moors led the championship for the majority of the season, but they are down a driver now, which has put them at a little bit of a disadvantage. But CSA Team Woza have got 2 drivers in their roster of Stephan Wessels and Jeffrey Kruger, and they're top of the standings as their 2 drivers are fighting for championships, 1 in gold and 1 in silver, and it means they have the advantage heading into tonight. Whereas Mission R powered by Moors, Adam Wilson-Weir is very much pulling the points for that team, but George Stone is the 2nd driver there. He's actually looking very quick tonight, so look out for him scoring points for Mission R. Aztec Racing with Ford Mustang, it's Matthew Cheverton and Gabriel Papaconstantino scoring the majority of points for the team there, but they are 3rd place. And in 4th place is Quatermass Motorsports with Mission R Esports in 5th position. So that's the championship situation heading into tonight. I believe nothing will be concluded tonight for the gold and silver category, and the teams as well, for that matter. But the bronze category is pretty much sewn up. So Adam Wilson-Weir is our champion pretty much in the bronze category. So, just looking at our standings here for practice. They've got half a minute left in practice, and there's actually some surprises on here. As I mentioned, George Stone has struggled this season, I would say, in the silver category, but quickest in practice at the moment is George Stone of the Mission R team. No, do excuse me. He's of the Mission R team, yeah. Yeah, quickest in silver category and nearly half a second quicker as well. But Adam Wilson-Weir, he's not letting off. He's enjoying himself now, clearly. But he is nearly half a second clear of Stein Vaetens, the previous race winner in the series. But Adam Wilson-Weir quicker than any silver category driver as well, getting his practicing ready for next season. As he's undoubtedly going to be in the silver category, maybe even gold category next season, because he is 4th overall right now in these practice standings. But Gaz Williams, quickest in the gold category as well. That's brilliant. And seeing as he's going for 4th in the championship, that bodes well for him for tonight. But let's see how qualifying gets on. Drivers will leave the pits on this relatively small track here at Mosport. You can see the track map on the right there. It's very few corners actually, and some of them are mostly just lift off and coast through and then power through the corners. But yeah, there's not many opportunities to overtake either. So we'll see how we get on with these drivers tonight. And normally what it is, with the more tricky the track, the more exciting the racing. That tends to be what happens, particularly in this GT3 series. So, in the gold category then, all to be done for Ben McCluskey. At this point last season, he headed into round 9, just needing a good sprint race result to win the championship. That is certainly not the case this season. But Stephan Wessels is his rival in the gold category. He's had a lot of bad luck this season. The first part of the season, the first 3 rounds were really bad luck for him. But his luck changed around about round 5. And he started putting in some big wins. 4 sprint race wins he's taken this season, and plenty of good results in feature races as well to go along with it. Silver category, Matthew Cheverton here needs to hunt down Jeffrey Kruger for that championship spot in silver. Cheverton definitely has the capability to do it, but Jeffrey Kruger, only 2 seasons ago in Season 5 of the NXTGEN Thursday Night Leagues, which was the Prototype and GT3 Championship, he won the bronze category. So only 2 seasons later, he's going for the championship in silver. And you know what? Jeffrey Kruger is going to give us a lap of Mosport, because normally I pick on Ben McCluskey to do this, but today it's going to be Jeffrey Kruger. So here we go, into turn number 1. No name that I can see for this corner, but it's a fast right-hander, taking a little bit of the curb on the outside. Now we go up the hill, and as we go down the hill, we're turning left and braking for turn number 2, Clayton corner. And you've got to be really careful of when you plant the throttle down and get a nice late apex. Into Quebec corner we go now, and a nice late apex here on the throttle, and just keeping the wheel as straight as possible on the exit of the corner. We head over to turn number 4, it'll be over the hill, left, down the hill, and heavy braking into Moss corner, which are 2 right-handers. Pretty much a double apex corner. And getting a nice straight line exit there to make sure you get the best speed you can down the Mario Andretti straight, which arguably is not a straight, it's just one big curve, but this is the fastest part of the track. So we head up towards the S's, which is the final section of this track. It's a short track, as I mentioned, but now we'll brake into the S's. Only down to 4th gear there for Jeffrey Kruger. Nice late apex, getting it nice and right, ready for the left-handed turn immediately after, and then same again with this inversion of turns. And that is a lap of Mosport, a very quick lap indeed. But let's see how Kruger got on that lap. Up into 2nd place at the moment, so probably not the kind of pace we'd expect from Kruger usually, but he's quicker than Cheverton, which is all the more important. But Adam Wilson-Weir has set the fastest lap so far of the entire session. Albeit only 1 lap completed in qualifying at the moment, but that's a seriously quick lap indeed. Now, one thing to bear in mind with qualifying here, ladies and gentlemen, is although we've got on the timing tower the category splits, these drivers will be starting together in 1 overall grid for the sprint race. It's only the feature race tonight, which will feature grouped grids. As we see Gaz Williams put himself to the top of the standings, and same with Ben McCluskey. But Gaz Williams seems to like this track. Maybe that's why he put it on the calendar. he's the admin of this series, and he's got himself to the top of the standings here at Mosport, and he must really like this circuit, as I mentioned. And Harry Langford goes into 2nd place. He's an outside chance for the gold category. in the championship, but is going to require a little bit of luck and probably winning every single race from here on in. Papa Constantino crosses the line. Not such a good final sector. He does go quicker and he goes closer to Adam Wilson-Weir, but probably not close enough. Now, as I was mentioned with the overall grid, we are going to switch over eventually to an overall standings, but we're just keeping an eye on who's quickest of their categories, because pole position in your category gets you a bonus point. And that's crucial at this point in the championship, particularly for the likes of Cheverton and Jeffrey Kruger. Now, Cheverton, something's happened back there with a CSA driver and Cheverton. He's pulled over here. I think letting a few other cars by, but Cheverton here is second at the moment in qualifying, just a 10th or just shy of a 10th off Matthew Addy, and I think he's trying to find a good group to get involved in and help him in terms of slipstream around this track. Okay, Jack Pittas into 4th position. He's been 4th in the championship for quite a while, and he's dropped down to 7th in the championship. He needs a good round here ahead of his rivals to get himself back up into that top spot. Here's our championship leader, Ben McCluskey, 3rd position. Not too far behind in terms of time from Gaz Williams. But Gaz Williams will be going for 4th in the championship, as we mentioned tonight. Stein Vatens crosses the line. Good time from him. Puts himself into 2nd place in the bronze category. What about Davide Favo? He's passing the line now. He stays in 26th for the time being. We've got a bit of a small grid tonight. This is a track that's not favoured by most. Now, Stephan Wessels will cross the line. Let's see how he gets on. And I think that's actually an outlap potentially from Stephan Wessels. But McCluskey and Jack Pittas have crossed the line. Ben McCluskey goes top of the standings, and Pittas pretty much follows him, being only a 10th and a half behind. They go to 1 and 2 in the standings. Let's keep an eye on Harry Langford. He might be on a good lap. No, he's on 2 amber sectors at the moment. So not looking great for him. But back here, Phil McDougall is on a pretty good lap by the looks of it. And Alan McCain, so let's see how they get on. Phil McDougall goes up to 3rd position. And Alan McCain, who had a very good 2nd sector, not such a good 3rd sector in actual fact, he goes 5th. Now Cheverton will like that because it puts him further away from Jeffrey Kruger for the time being, although Jeffrey Kruger I think has just gone quicker. He has into 3rd place, and Adam Wilson-Weir has just gone even quicker. He's quicker than all the bronze category drivers and quicker than all the silver category drivers at the moment. Now that's improvement, as he goes 3/10 clear of his nearest rival Stein Vatens. And George Stone, who was quickest in practice in the silver category, has gone to 2nd in the silver category right now. Matthew Addy right now is doing very well in the silver category. Let's see if he holds it. Gaz Williams is in the final sector with a very good 1st sector and not such a good 2nd sector, as Stephan Wessels has put himself high. He's up to 5th, which probably isn't the kind of time that Stephan needs. Gaz Williams doesn't go quicker. He stays in 3rd position. He's only a few hundredths slower than his fastest lap. Dan Altria goes to 6th. He holds 4th in the championship right now. The race win he got at Zandvoort in the feature race definitely helped him to that. The 4th place in the standings, he's definitely going to be going for that. And it's between himself, Gaz Williams, Jack Pittas, and Mike Barber. Gabriel Papaconstantino puts himself into 3rd place. And Adam Wilson-Weir is in the pits, so he might be getting some fresh boots and will head back out on the track. Plenty of time left in qualifying, and in fact, in this qualifying session, it might be helpful for the drivers because they can get plenty of laps in. George Stone crosses the line with a very good 1st sector, a very good 2nd sector, not such a good 3rd sector, but it's enough to put in provisional pole for the silver category at the moment, and that's 5th overall on the grid. We'll switch over to that at the halfway point in the session. Steph Wessels is on a great lap right here. 2 purples and 1 green. That's surely enough. Yes, it is. To the top of the standings he goes, and he's clear of McCluskey by 0.141. And McCluskey on that lap just then can't go anywhere near his own personal best, let alone Wessels' outright best. So work to do for McCluskey, but realistically McCluskey just needs to sit behind Wessels for the rest of the season, really, but not finish too far behind him, particularly in the endurance rounds, because the endurance rounds, finishing lower down the field, really can lose you points. So, other drivers that are on good laps. Steinvaten seems to be on a pretty good lap, well, first sector anyway. And we'll switch over to the overall standings now. There you go. That is how they'll start on the grid. It's one big grid for the sprint race. And Adam Wilson-Weir is up in 8th place in the bronze category, but silver category, George Stone, really leading the way for them at the moment. Matthew Cheverton has gone quicker in terms of time, but has not gained any places. He remains 11th overall for the moment, which is 3rd in category. He's 2 places up the grid from Jeffrey Kruger as it stands, his championship rival. Wessels and McCluskey are in the pits. It is the halfway point, so you might spot drivers heading into the pits at this point. It's a good time to get some fresh boots and head back out on the track and try again in qualifying. So we might see that from a few drivers, as I mentioned. Some drivers will carry on though, like Jesse Payne-Wilkins here. He carries on. We'll see if he can go any quicker. It might actually be an outlap from Jesse Payne-Wilkins or an invalid lap. But no improvement from him at the moment. And you just see how close all the times are up there. We're meant to have like a colouring scale of all the times. The bigger they are, the more closer to white numbers they get on our interval standings there. They're all orange or kind of bronzy colour, and that just proves how close everybody is in the standings. And if we look here, it is the top 13 all within a second at the moment, albeit Jamie Dory 14th place, not too far off that second gap. That's how close things can be here at Mosport. Those drivers back out on track, and the thing is with Mosport as well, it's got a short pit lane as well. Normally with short pit lanes, it makes it a little bit more difficult to plan overcuts and undercuts. As Adam Wilson-Weir goes a little bit quicker, he moves up 1 place overall to 7th position, and that puts him a little bit further away from his rivals. Although he has already won the championship, he doesn't need to worry about that so much. But Ben Altra has taken that spot back. 7th place for him, 6th in category. Mark Kent is on a good lap here. Personal best in 1 and 2, but 3 wasn't so good. I think he'll stay. No, he won't. He'll go to 22nd. Not a bad lap indeed. Matthew Cheverton was on a good lap and has gone into the pits. Let's check in on Harry Langford. Oh, he's taken a spin at the chicane there. He was on a good first sector, but that hasn't worked out for him at all there. Now, we might have a replay of that. So this is him heading into the S's at the end of the Mario Andretti straight. Ooh, the car just seems to understeer a little bit, and he can't regain the rear once it lets go. And that'll mean back to the pits. He has indeed gone to the pits. I don't think he has. Yeah, he's got a very crumbled front end. He's carrying on. We'll check back in with Langford a little bit later on. Will we see McCluskey respond? This will be his first quick lap of the next part of qualifying. Jesse Payne-Wilkins goes to 9th in the standings. He moves ahead of 2nd place in silver category, Matthew Addy. And the only driver in the field with the Lamborghini is Jesse Payne-Wilkins. Most of the drivers in the field are sporting the Mustang or the Porsche. There's a couple of McLaren drivers out there as well. And McCluskey goes across the line. It is not a quick lap, it's a second off of his personal best. He's getting a good slipstream at the moment from Gaz Williams just up ahead of him, and behind, I believe that is Alan McCain following as well. Let's see if there's any drivers heading towards the line. Gabriel Papaconstantino's just crossed the line, and he's taken 2nd in category. That's good enough for 12th place overall, and Jeffrey Kruger has gone even quicker. He's now up to 2nd place ahead of Matthew Cheverton, and that puts him 9th on the grid. Oh, as he's pushed a little bit too hard there, and he takes a half spin through turn number 2 there. Now, Stephan Wessels, he's already top of the standings, but a purple first sector, not such a great second sector, but how much slower, we don't know. But he'll cross the line. Now, our timing at the bottom there always lies. It is quicker. He's the first into the 1:14s, and that puts him 0.181 quicker than McCluskey. So he improved his time by about 4 hundredths. It's not much, but it's a little bit. And Ben McCluskey has gone a little bit quicker as well. He's now to just over a 10th behind Wessels. Is really not much. He just needs a little bit more. But what more is there left for these drivers to push on to get the extra time? There really isn't much. They're absolutely to the max of what they and the cars can do. And the fine little improvements in time are so minute that it's difficult to claw the time back on your rivals sometimes. Jake Pitt with a very good time there. He goes up to 10th in the standings. Kruger across the line there. No quicker for him. Now let's check back in on Stephan Wessels. Not such a good first sector, but a very good second sector. Let's see how the rest of this lap is. If you can go even quicker than that, what can McCluskey do? We'll find him very, very shortly. Sean Schutt's also on a very good lap. Across the line goes Wessels. No, it's not quicker. What about McCluskey? Not very good first and second sectors. Not very good third either, or was it? No, it wasn't. He's nearly a second off of his PB, but he gets another lap. There's a couple more laps still to be done from these drivers. McCain is in 5th position in the silver category, but up into 2nd in the silver category. Just completed the time and got himself up there. It's Matthew Addy, who's in really good form tonight. 2nd place in silvers is enough for 9th place overall here, and he's looking to hang on to his 3rd place in the championship from rival for that position as he takes an excursion there off the track. Turn 3 is very difficult around this corner, I might add. I've always struggled with it. But Phil McDougall is the one battling for 3rd in the standings. The points he got from his win at the endurance round at Bathurst will certainly have helped that. He's going for that 3rd spot, similar to Matthew Addy. Now Stein Vatens has just crossed the line a couple of moments ago. He goes to 2nd in bronze, right behind Adam Wilson-Weir. And it's enough for 9th place in the standings. So 2 bronze category drivers doing very, very well here, it must be said. Ben McCluskey, how's he got on this lap? Good first sector. Not sure about the second sector. Let's see what he ends up with. Oh, he is quicker. He has gone quicker. And so has Gaz Williams. And Gaz Williams goes up to 3rd, but Ben McCluskey stays where he is. Now there's only 64 thousandths of a second between him and his championship rival Wessels in pole position currently. This is tense between the two. And it starts here in qualifying. In the latter part of this season, Stephan Wessels has definitely been the quicker driver, but McCluskey is just so good at securing points, keeping safe, keeping out of trouble. Wessels has been recently as well, but Wessels, the start of the season for him, a couple of incidents here and there, and it just hasn't been able to avoid incidents, I would say. And that's what's caused this slip in the championship that he's got at the moment. Now Ben Outra, we'll just revert to him. 5th position now, he just set a real good time. And you can see how tense things are for that battle for 4th in the championship as Gaz Williams, Jack Pittas and Ben Outra are so close together on the timing board. 3rd to 5th they take up at the moment. And Mike Barber was also battling for 4th in the championship in gold category heading into tonight, but he's not racing tonight. Now I'm not entirely sure what that's going to mean for the championship for him. I'm going to try and do a lot of these championship standings on the fly tonight. I'll have to do it during the intervals. Now 1 minute to go in this session, so drivers have to try and get themselves to the line. Into the pits goes Jake Pitt. He's had enough of qualifying here. Jeffrey Kruger is on another lap here. This won't be his final lap. He'll get at least one more lap. Move across the line doesn't go quicker. And Stephan Wessels is approaching the end of a lap here. He might get another one, but I don't think McCluskey will. Matthew Cheverton has just gone up to second in the standings, so he eclipses Jeffrey Kruger. But what about Wessels? No, he's not quicker. He's a tenth and a bit down. What about McCluskey? Oh, he might actually make it to the line, you know. He will, and he'll get another lap. And that lap wasn't quicker, neither was it from Gaz Williams. So there's plenty all still to go for. Alan McCain won't make it to the line, and I don't think Adam Wilson-Weir did either. But he's first place, pole position at the moment for bronze category. Coming to the line now is Matthew Addy. He's been quick tonight, so let's see if he can challenge George Stone. No, he won't. He'll go to the pits. Jack Pittas, he goes to the pits as well. Drivers calling it a day in qualifying. Yilmaz is next. There's not many more drivers left out on the track. Yilmaz will complete his lap here. The Aztec Racing driver will want points. It will help his team in the championship. Yilmaz doesn't go quicker. Now, Matthew Cheverton. He's going to go for it. Is he going to get pole position here? He's just got 4/100th of a second to beat. Oh, and he was within 7/1000th of a second. So close. Wessels has called it a day on qualifying. He's back in the pits, but Gaz Williams and Ben McCluskey will carry on. Gaz Williams got all out of shape heading out of the final corner then, but what about McCluskey? No, he hasn't. It's much slower. But Gaz Williams was only a little bit slower than his personal best as well. But there will be 2 and 3 in qualifying here. And I think that will settle it. That will be qualifying done and dusted. Now, pole sitters of each category are Stephan Wessels in gold category, George Stone for the first time in silver category, and in bronze category, yet again, Adam Wilson-Weir. Very interesting qualifying session indeed. Quite an exciting one, actually. But let's see how the sprint race gets on. Remember what I said, ladies and gentlemen. It will be an overall grid. They'll all start together. The grouped start grids will only come for the feature race. So this is our overall grid for our opening race of the night, the sprint race here at Mosport. On pole position will be Stephan Wessels of the CSA team, going for first in the championship tonight, with his rival right alongside him, Ben McCluskey, in second. Gaz Williams, third position, one of his better qualifying results of the season, and he's got Jack Pittas, of which he's battling with for fourth in the championship alongside him. But just behind them, another one battling for fourth in the championship is Ben Altria, fifth place. Harry Langford, sixth position, who is holding third in the championship heading into tonight. Jake Pitt is 7th with Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 8th, Sean Shute in 9th, and Jamie Dory in 10th. We'll come back to that in a sec. There we go. Just a minor blip with our grid there. We had the same last week. Right, let's go back to 7th place. It's George Stone from Matthew Cheverton. 9th place is Adam Wilson-Weir, and Stein Vatens alongside him. They're the top 2 bronze drivers, starting just behind the top 2 silver drivers. Matthew Addy is 11th from Jeffrey Kruger. Jake Pitt in 13th from Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 14th. Gabriel Papaconstantino is in the 15th position with Sean Shute alongside in 16th. Jamie Dory starting 17th alongside Phil McDougall. In 19th position will be Alan McCain with Paul Williams alongside. Mark Sykes starting 21st with Mark Kent starting in 22nd. Robert Savage going for 3rd in the championship in bronze category, battling for 2nd as well in the championship really. He's 23rd. Mark Baker in 24th with Michael Evangeli in 25th, Gabriel Yilmaz in 26th. Matt Gatter is in 27th position with Davide Favo in 28th, and at the back of the grid is Andy Rooney. We're all set to go here at Mosport for our last sprint race of the season. And it's our last sprint race of the season, but we've got a feature race coming up later on as well. And that'll be our last feature race of the season. And of course, next week is an endurance round. It's a 2-hour endurance to end the season at Le Mans. But our last sprint race of the season. Currently, the driver with the most sprint race wins is Stephan Wessels with 4. Can he make it 5? At the moment, pole position suggests he can. Drivers move off the grid, and like we mentioned, it is one big grid. There's no splits in categories. So the pace car leads them down the Mario Andretti straight. Approaching the S's, drivers will get ready, and Ben McCluskey will have the outside for turn number 1, but that could turn into the inside for turn number 2. So a good start from McCluskey. He can challenge Wessels in the first couple of corners. Let's hope everyone gets through safely, but we're heading around for our final sprint race of the season. Stephan Wessels will lead them to the line, and the marshal will wave him off, and straight away Wessels pulls in front of McCluskey to start this race. In front he goes, leading them around turn number 1. As they lead out of the corner, it looks like everyone's nice and safely through. George Stone is already moving up places. 6th place he's risen up to already. He must enjoy this track very much as we head into turns 2 and 3 now. A bit wide there for one of the Quatermass drivers. That's Harry Langford. Has to get it back out on the track. And Stein Vatens has had a very good start. He's up to 8th place already. And Matthew Cheverton is already making a move for first in the silver category. But he has to tuck back in behind George Stone for the moment. Out onto the Mario Andretti straight we go. Oh, and there's a spin back there. That's Jamie Dory. He's being pulled around. And that is more bad luck for Jamie Dory. And this is how it happened. That's Jamie Dory, his face on the back of the car, and that's him up with Gabriel Papaconstantino, now Jesse Payne Wilkins. Oh, and there was a little bit of netcode at first, and that's what started to turn around Jamie Dory, and then it just finished off with the slide that happens due to that contact. But at the end of lap 1, Wessels leads from McCluskey right behind him. Gaz Williams 3rd. But back here in the bronze category, side by side, it was between Steph Wessels and Adam Wilson-Weir, and it is again here, as Wilson-Weir's had a good exit of turn number 1. Goes a little bit wide there, will go off the track, but into turn number 2 is side by side for the bronze category lead. Wilson-Weir is back in front, Vatens tucks in behind. Jeffrey Kruger, good start to this race, he's up 1 place, but he's quite a way behind Cheverton at the moment. Cheverton's up here, leading the race from the silver category at the moment. And this is what he needs. Points on his rival. He's down in 3rd place at the moment. Points for each of these categories are based on category position, as Langford's gone off again. This is not looking like a good start to the race for him at all. He drops down to 10th place, and he might lose it to Jeffrey Kruger. But that'll be 6th place for Harry Langford, who, heading into tonight's race, into this race, he's the most recent winner. He won the feature race at Silverstone just a week ago. We've got side by side also between Matthew Addy and Jake Pitt. Pitt is on the inside, and he's through, past and into 12th position. Let's switch over to the category standings, because they are what the drivers score their points for. Their overall position is good. It protects you from other drivers being ahead of drivers in other categories. But the points you get for your category are where you finish in category. Now, Wessels has had a good 2nd lap of the race, fastest lap of the race, and he's pulled away somewhat from Ben McCluskey. But McCluskey knows he just needs to stick with Wessels. Not get into any trouble, and just keep scoring good points. Papaconstantino has dropped down the order. Something's happened to him here. And I think we're about to find out what's happened. So he's got Jesse Payne Wilkins behind him. This is going through turn number 1, approaching number 2. As we head up the hill, down the crest. Oh, the car's just slipped sideways. Broke at the wrong time, probably turned at the wrong time. And it's put him into the barrier. And that'll give him a little bit of damage as well. And, oh, lost control of the car. Whoa, very good avoidance from one of the drivers there. I think that was Mark Kent passing by. And Papa Constantino, not sure what he's doing here, but he's still trying to rejoin the track with a rear wing missing as well. So that would be a very loose car as well. The other drivers will be approaching very soon to where he is on the track. Good. Third lap there. One of them. From Cheverton, as is actually ahead of the bronze category, but he's 6th place at the moment, first in category. He's got George Stone right behind him, but he's got fastest lap of the race, which is another point. Everything that he needs to try and claim back that championship lead. Adam Wilson-Weir also set fastest lap of the race in bronze category. But it's a good lead here from Stephan Wessels, 1.3 second lead, 1.2 give or take. But back here we've also got this important battle for 4th place in the championship. It's pretty much right now anyway, barring any drop rounds affecting things positively for Mike Barber heading into next week. It's between these three, and Gaz Williams heading the pack at the moment. Altria in the middle and Jack Pittas just behind. Cheverton still leads in the silver category from George Stone, in arguably one of his better positions of the season at the moment. He's struggled to hit the mark in silver category this season, but this here right now is looking very good for him and will be good for his team in the championship. Real good pace from Stein Vatens as well. He's got Harry Langford all over the rear of him. Langford struggling a little bit tonight. He's gone off the track twice already in this race. Behind, that's Jeffrey Kruger, who's under a little bit of pressure from Jake Pitts. And arguably, Jeffrey Kruger might be in the gold category next season, if this season is anything to go by. Fast lap of the race last time around for Stephan Wessels. He's really got the pace. He's lapping about 0.3 of a second quicker than McCluskey on that last lap. He's got a more comfortable lead. 1.3 seconds though. 1.3 seconds when you're in the car driving and you're looking at your relative between yourself and the driver behind. 1.3 seconds and the car in your mirrors is a lot more intimidating than what it might seem to us watching on the TV cameras here. A little bit slower on that last lap for Ben McCluskey. But on that last lap, George Stone takes away fastest lap of the race from Matthew Cheverton. And of course, all points that drivers score for their categories as well go towards the team. So George Stone getting 2nd place here, battling for 1st, is helping Mission R, powered by Mords, in the championship. They will score more points in this race, as it stands, than CSA Team Wozer, which is piloted by Wessels and Kruger, but not many more points. That's the other thing to point out. Adam Wilson-Weir is gapping Stein Vatens a little bit, who's kind of, well, not really holding up a group of cars here, but he's at the front of a group of cars that are tailed by Jesse Payne-Wilkins at the moment. We've got Langford all over the rear of Stein Vatens. He'll move to the inside as we approach the S's at the end of the Mario Andretti straight here. And there we go, he's through. Nice easy overtake. Keep it nice and snug to the inside here. It's a very difficult track, is Mosport. I struggled with it when I drove a touring car around here in the NXTCC a few seasons ago. I hope nobody digs that one out of the archives and shows me how bad I was. But I can vouch that this is a very difficult track. I've never gone along with it, and it is a bit of a love-hate track. NXTGEN do love using it. It's a little bit resemblant of Thruxton, it can be, with the long sweeping corners and the occasional chicane. And I'm fairly sure it did represent the fake version of Thruxton in the NXTCC once upon a time. Of course, we've now got the real Thruxton circuit, which will feature in the NXTCC soon, as we see a car off there. That's Davide Favo. Now he's been lapped, so that doesn't affect anything at the front here. Check back in with the silver category, because this is the closest battle for lead in a category. He's back there to George Stone from the very, very angry sounding Mustang. There's nothing angry about Matthew Cheverton right now. He's leading this race and he's heading into tonight following a three-peat of wins on streamed on Wednesday night but raced on Tuesday night. Matthew Cheverton won 3 races in a row at Snetterton in the NXTGEN Blue Lobby. Fine fashion winning those races. So he heads into tonight presumably in a good mood. And in fine form, it must be said. He's 4 seconds clear of his championship rival at the moment. Kruger's all the way back here as we see Jake Pitt taking the excursion off the grass back there. Keeps hold of the car as they head into turn number 2. But Kruger will lose some points in the championship from this result. He will lose 6 points. Now bear in mind tonight can also be a drop round, which means that things are not quite as mathematically as easy to work out as they probably would be if it wasn't a drop round to think about tonight. But I've got a nice trusted spreadsheet on the side here that I'm going to fill in after the race, and we can keep you updated on how things stand to head into the final feature race of the season, which is coming up later on. And by later on, I mean at approximately 10 past 9 o'clock, UK time that is. And that'll be a 60-minute feature race with a pit stop included. And a pit stop here at Mosport. The pit lane's time is very short here, so it means that undercuts are going to be harder to simulate for the drivers. But on this track, it's probably actually a track that fuel saving can be a bit easier because there's a bit more coasting involved in these corners. A lot more trail braking as well, which can help with fuel saving. We are just over the halfway point. 1.3 second lead for Stephan Wessels. He was a little bit slower on that last lap than McCluskey. Just around a tenth, so it really isn't that much. But like I said, that 1.3 second gap might seem pretty big on the cameras here, but in the mirrors of Wessels, it will seem like a big brute of a Mustang right in the mirrors and not too far behind. You cannot make any mistakes here. Cheverton and George Stone fairly close still, less than 3/10 between them. George Stone really isn't that far off and he's having a really good night at the moment. And it's a little bit dark on our screens, ladies and gentlemen, because it has clouded over here at Mosport. Now, something we haven't had all season, I don't think we have anyway, oh, we had it a little bit at Misano actually, is wet weather. And it's because we're in the summer for the majority of the tracks that we visit, with the exception of Bathurst for round 6, which had very foggy weather, but no wet weather. Something to bear in mind that it can still happen for the remainder of the season is wet weather. Oh, that was a very good exit from turn 2 there from George Stone, but not quite enough of a run to get to the inside of Cheverton at turn number 3. Let's also keep an eye on Rob Savage. Rob Savage is going for second in the championship. If he can score good points tonight, he'll close in on Jonathan Berry for second place in the championship. And the bronze category is pretty much already sewn up. In fact, it is sewn up because Jonathan Berry couldn't race tonight and Rob Savage is not within enough points. But more points for him tonight might put him closer to second in the championship. Make it a showdown for second for Le Mans next week. I do love it when we end our seasons at Le Mans. It's just the mecca of endurance racing. We're there next week. Similar times, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a singular 2-hour endurance, as we mentioned, to crown our champions at the conclusion of that night. George Stone has a sniff of a victory here. Hasn't had one this season. Hasn't had many podiums, in fact, this season. He's got a sniff of a win here, so he'll be desperate for it. It'll be his best result of the season, either way, if he finishes first or second. We'll check back in very shortly. Still, it's opened up a little bit between Ben Altra and Gaz Williams. Altra has slipped off a little bit, but Pettas is not getting all that much more closer to Ben Altra at the moment. So it seems a little bit stagnant in the top 5 at the moment here. Something's happened to Gabriel Yilmaz further back in the pack. Oh, and I don't know what he's doing out on the turn number 2 there. This is what's happened to Yilmaz, one of the Aztec Racing drivers. He hits a lot of the curb at turn 1 there, hits even more curb at turn 2, and it just unsettles the car. It's a very high curb at turn number 1 there, and trying to turn it around rear ends the wall, and that is going to heavily damage your car, hitting the guardrail on the outside of turn number 2 there. And you'll limp back to the pits, and it's very difficult to limp the cars back to the pits when you've rear-ended the wall. Now, McCluskey hasn't got anyone on his heels there. That is Papa Constantino, a lap down behind him, and that was Yilmaz to the side there, just pulling out of the way. And Wilson-Weir versus Harry Langford here, and Langford moves past. He's gone into 8th place there. I think something's just happened to Alan McCain there. He's we just missed that. We'll catch the end of it then. So Alan McCain here ended up dropping behind Paul Williams. Oh, the rear end gives way, hit a little bit of the grass there. He held that very, very well. But as Mark Sykes goes alongside, something happens. So they head into... Oh, no, there's contact between the two. Round goes Mark Sykes. And Alan McCain, he knows straight away what's happened there. And he stops to wait. But Mark Sykes stays in 4th in category. It just drops him a few places overall. That'll see Paul Williams into 6th position in the silver category. Now, the time between Wessels and McCluskey is coming down bit by bit. They're within a second of each other, just below 7 tenths. So McCluskey, in this part of the race, is doing the good stuff, putting in some good laps. Might be able to put in a challenge on Wessels, might be able to put pressure on Wessels in the latter part of this race. Still close between George Stone and Matthew Cheverton. That's the Aztec racing car right in front of Stone here, and the straight here is not quite long enough to try and line up a slipstreaming move unless you can get a really good exit out of the back 2 corners, the Moss corners. There's actually only 5 runners in the bronze category right now, still out on the track. Others are either a lap down or in the pits. Bronze category drivers having a hard time of it tonight, and there we go. It's because it's such a short track, lapped traffic is going to become a significant thing, as Wessels and McCluskey are finding that out right now. They just moved by, I think that was Michael Evangeli they just passed, and yes, I believe it was, and that could play a part in this, particularly in the feature race later on. Just a few more laps to go. Not much time left for McCluskey to try and get up to and past Wessels. His last lap, though, for McCluskey was his quickest of the race, but Wessels was only actually 600th slower on that last lap. .6 of a second. Got much closer between them, and actually their time's fairly even on that last lap, and they'll be only 2 laps to go now, including this one. The next time by they'll see the white flag to signal the final lap of the race. Just listening to McCluskey through the slower sections on the track. Upshifts nice and early for that corner on the apex, and that allows him to put his foot down harder out of the corner and it means the rear end of the car is not spinning so much, or the rear wheels are not spinning so much, and it helps you keep control of the car better. But we'll use first gear to get around the corner and second gear to get out of the corner. Getting closer on this lap is McCluskey. It's below 6/10, but that's the white flag waving in the background there. Wessels has started his final lap. There's only half a second between these two championship rivals. Fastest lap of the race for himself, Ben McCluskey, but fastest lap of the category of the race actually is Stephan Wessels, but that's a personal best for McCluskey we just saw there, and he's dropped off a little bit. It was a bad run through turn number 2 just then, and he's dropped him off. And that might do it. George Stone not getting closer to Matthew Cheverton. And that first race win might not come, but it might come at a later point. Now remember, the results of this race in each category will be reversed to form the grid for the next race. They'll be grouped in their categories. So here we go, approaching the final couple of corners now. And back here, it's fairly close. Well, that's Papa Constantino in front of Ben Altria. Ben Altria might not be happy about that because it might be affecting the battle on track between those three drivers. But we must greet through our winner in the gold category. Stephan Wessels picks up his 5th sprint race win of the season in gold category. He takes the final sprint win of the season. And Ben McCluskey 2nd place. That's enough to keep the championship going. Keep it very much in his hands for the final 2 races of the season. Gaz Williams takes the final spot on the podium in the gold category, ahead of Ben Altria and Jack Pittas. A race win. Oh, as if someone took a spin out of the final first corner there. Matthew Cheverton takes the win in silver category, and a great drive there from George Stone as he takes one of his better results of the season, 2nd place. And Jeffrey Kruger will lose some points to his championship rival Cheverton, but 3rd place for him is still a good result. 1st place in bronze category, another win, and it's his 5th sprint race win of the season for Adam Wilson-Weir. 2nd place is Stijn Vatens. 3rd place, Robert Savage. Not a huge amount of drama in that race, no highly notable incidents that really shook up championship potentials. Everyone's really behaving themselves. A few incidents that were a bit iffy during that race, but generally everyone behaving themselves. So a rundown of the standings in gold category. Wessels takes the top spot from Ben McCluskey, Gaz Williams in 3rd position, Ben Altria in 4th and Jack Pittas in 5th, Harry Langford in 6th with Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 7th, Sean Shute in 8th position. 9th place, he had some issues in that race as Jamie Dory, and Jake Pitt rounds off the top 10. In silver category, Matthew Cheverton wins the race from George Stone, Jeffrey Kruger in 3rd position, Matthew Addy in 4th, Phil McDougall in 5th position with Paul Williams in 6th, Mark Baker in 7th, Mark Kent finishing in 8th, and rounding off the finishes in silver category is Alan McCain. Bronze category, Adam Wilson-Weir finishes top spot with Stijn Vatens in 2nd position, Rob Savage rounding off the podium. Mark Sykes 4th position, despite the incident he had earlier in the race, and in 5th position was Matt Gatter. Gabriel Papaconstantino in 6th position from Michael Evangeli in 7th, 8th position is Gabriel Yilmaz, Davide Favo in 9th, and Andy Rooney did not start the race, will be classified 10th. So that's been the opening race of the night, the sprint race. We'll be back in about 20 minutes time for the feature race, and it'll be formed by the results of that race we just saw. We'll go through the grid a little bit later on, of course, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll go for a quick break now and we'll be back with the 1 hour race very shortly.
Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Welcome back to Mosport, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the NXTGEN Racing GT3 League Round 9 at Mosport. We've got the feature race coming up very shortly. We just had qualifying and the sprint race. We've got a 60-minute race coming up very, very shortly. But first, a little bit about the series. This is NXTGEN Racing GT3 Season 7. We've got 2 races to go, 2 rounds to go. The feature race now, and then next week will be the final round of the championship. This is Thursday night racing here at NXTGEN Racing. On Tuesday night is also the NXTCC, featuring 2 lobbies of exciting touring car racing, replicating the BTCC calendar. And also on alternate Tuesday nights is a NXTGEN Racing Legends series, featuring the Legends 34 coupe cars. And they will also follow British tracks, including Cadwell Park, Brands Hatch, Snetterton, etc, etc. A very exciting series, and all of it is broadcast live onto YouTube, onto NXTGEN Racing TV, and some series also streamed live onto Facebook and Kick. And if you want to get involved in NXTGEN Racing, whether you are a fan, whether you are a driver on iRacing and you want to get involved in the racing, or just get involved as a fan of NXTGEN Racing, you can scan the QR code on the lower left of our screen there, or click the Discord link in the description, and that'll give you access to NXTGEN Racing's Discord server. There you can meet the drivers, meet the admins, and generally check out all the news that NXTGEN Racing has to release. And a big shout out to NXTGEN Racing's sponsors, partners and affiliates that help run the show here, that include Power Max Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsports UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC and Dobo Motorcycles. This is round 9 of the championship. Two rounds to go and 2 races to go. We've had the sprint race tonight, and that was our last sprint race of the season. We've now got our final feature race of the season coming up very shortly, with our final round, an endurance round of the season next week, which is at Le Mans. But our season has gone thus far as follows. We started off at Misano for round 1 of the championship, then it was round 2 at Watkins Glen, and then we were in Canada again for round 3 of the championship, the first endurance round of the championship at the Montreal circuit, Gilles Villeneuve. Round 4 was hosted at Snetterton in the UK, with round 5 hosted at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. We were down under in Australia for the Mount Panorama Bathurst circuit for round 6, with Portimao hosting round 7 in Portugal. And then round 8, Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, our second visit to the UK, and that was last week. This week we're here at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, also known as Mosport. And next week, as we mentioned, it's Le Mans for a singular 2-hour endurance to crown our champions. But who will be our champions, I hear you ask, unless you are aware of the situation that's going on in the championship at the moment. And of course, Adam Wilson-Weir, before even the sprint race kicked off, is crowned champion as he takes an excursion off to celebrate that. Yeah, he is our bronze category champion, and hopefully we'll get to speak to him later on tonight in an interview. But he has won the championship, and he's pretty much won it 2 rounds early, because he won it technically before the sprint race started. Now, we mentioned Jonathan Berry was his closest championship rival. He was second place in the championship heading into tonight. He had to miss the sprint race, but he's back for the feature race. So he'll be going for second in the championship to regain some points. But 2 championships that are up for grabs still are the gold category and the silver category. Now, gold category is between this driver, Stephan Wessels, and championship leader and defending champion, Benji McCluskey. Now, heading out of that previous race, Stephan Wessels would have scored 4 more points than Ben McCluskey. But with drop rounds yet to play for, it does mean that it's going to it's going to be the conclusion of the feature race to really get a full scale of what's going to happen in the championship heading into Le Mans, because Ben McCluskey all season long has scored more than 33 points. So heading out of the sprint race, he only has 15 points to his name for this round at the moment. But that's, of course, we haven't done the feature race yet. So it's going to be a hard picture to paint right now until we get through the feature race. But in the silver category, it's a very similar tale where it's hard to tell what the full picture is at the moment. But Matthew Cheverton heading out of that opening race of the night scored 5 more points than Jeffrey Kruger, which is significant, as that'll bring it much more closer. Realistically, the two gold category battles and the gold category battle and the silver category battle need to be within 10 points of each other for it to be hugely realistic to have a championship swing, because there's such a big gap in points scoring in the endurance rounds that if you finish 4th or lower, that can really affect your championship, particularly at this point where they're only separated by about 20 to 15 points. So we see how things get on in this feature race. It could well set up a very exciting championship climax for next week at Le Mans. So let's go through our grid, ready for this next race and final race of the night. Gold category grid will look as follows, as they'll start in their groups, in their categories. Jake Pitt will line up on pole position with Jamie Dory alongside on that front row. Sean Shute will start 3rd with Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 4th position. Harry Langford, a disappointing first race for him, but he'll start 5th. He won the feature race last time out at Silverstone, remember. Jack Pittas is 6th position with Ben Altrier in 7th. Gaz Williams will line up 8th with the championship rivals 9th and 10th. That's Ben McCluskey and Stephan Wessels. In the silver category, Alan McCain will start on pole position, and he'll have Mark Baker alongside him. Paul Williams will start 3rd with Phil McDougall in 4th position, and Matthew Addy in 5th position with Jeffrey Kruger, the championship leader, in 6th. At the back of their pack, 7th and 8th in their pack, George Stone with one of his best results of the season in the sprint race, and Matthew Cheverton is in 8th place, having won the sprint race. In the bronze category, it's Michael Evangeli starting on the pole position with Gabriele Papaconstantino alongside. Matt Gatter will start 3rd with Mark Sykes in 4th. Robert Savage, going for 2nd in the championship, will start 5th, and he's got Stein Vatens alongside in 6th. Adam Wilson-Weir will start 7th with Jonathan Berry, who missed the sprint race, will start at the back of the pack in 8th position of the category. We're about to get underway for this final race of the night. It's a 1-hour race, as we mentioned. And there's only 2 races left in this championship. This one, the feature race, where a maximum points of 26 is up for grabs. 25 for the race winning category, and fastest lap will get you an extra point. Next week, drivers can score as much as 52 points. Now, I don't think there's going to be any championship battles that are going to be outside of the 52-point range that it would need to be to secure a championship. The only exception is Adam Wilson-Weir, who's already won the bronze category championship. So like we mentioned, drivers will start in their groups, in their categories, and they will be separated by around about 10 seconds. And we'll move off the grid very shortly. We'll see the gold category taken to the line starting their race first. Then it'll be the silver category 10 seconds later. And then approximately 10 seconds later after that will be the bronze category. Drivers are moving, making their way towards the S's. A relatively short formation lap here for the drivers. See, gold drivers up here, and a big gap to the silver category drivers. Each of them get their own starting procedure as well, signalled by race control, live race control here at NXTGEN Racing. So each of them will be controlled for their starts. Gold category will go first, of course. And it'll be Jake Pitt that leads into the line with Jamie Dory alongside. Jamie Dory had an instant in that previous race. He'll be looking for a better race this time around. Here we go. We're about to start the final feature race of the season. 2 races to go, and this is one of them. Jake Pitt leads into the line, and off they go. The lights go green, and we're racing for the feature race here at Mosport for the gold category. To turn number 1 they go. Let's keep an eye on the back. That's Benji McCluskey alongside his teammate Gaz Williams for a position up, and if he gets that, which he will, that helps him against Stephan Wessels. Silver category already going. Great start for Alan McCain. He's up there in first place already. And the bronze category, that is Gabriel Papaconstantino at the front, and back there, that's Matt Gatta, who's run wide, and he'll fall behind the pack. Adam Wilson-Weir already a good start to this race. Oh, Jamie Dory, he's nearly spun round. No, he has spun round. Oh, and everyone's avoided him, but that'll be a hit against the wall, and that is a bad start to the race for Jamie Dory. You'll have to wait for all the cars to pass by, and I think there's been more drama as Sean Shute is falling down the order as well. We're checking on him very shortly. This is what happened to Jamie Dory. Oh, he hits the back of Jake Pitt, and he just spins him round. Just about got it back under control, but it swapped ends again on him. Sean Shute is dropping down the pack. I think he's taking a spin a bit further back there. But the end of lap 1, look who's in second place. Ben McCluskey has really put his way through the pack. And I think later on in the race, we're going to have to watch his lap 1 on board, because that is an incredible rise up the order to get himself near the top step already in this race. Jesse Payne-Wilkins is in the pits already. I've got a feeling him and Sean Shute might have come together, so let's just check in on them before we go to our other categories. Now that's the Jamie Dory incident happening right ahead of us, and Sean Shute had to back off. That's Jesse Payne-Wilkins right behind Sean Shute. And as we head into the corner, oh no, Payne-Wilkins decided to sneak it to the inside. I don't think there was enough time there, but he gave it a go. And that sends the both of them down the order, and I think Jesse Payne-Wilkins might have to have served a drive-through penalty. That might have been what it was. But let's go back to the silver category. Jeffrey Kruger's had a good start to this race. He's side by side with Matthew Addy, very close between the two as they hit the apex of turn number 5. Through the corner and through into the top position of this battle. The 4th place in silvers, Kruger's through. But Cheverton is not too far behind at all. He's trying to keep up with Kruger, but he took points away from him in the previous race, but he's got to take points away from him in this race as well, if realistically he wants a better chance at the championship at Le Mans next week. Matthew Addy on the outside, trying to get back past Jeffrey Kruger, but it's not quite happened just yet. Bit of understeer on corner exit as well for Matthew Addy. But at the front, Ben McCluskey is going to try and close in on Jake Pitt. 6 tenths or 5.5 tenths closed in on that lap just then. And it's the fastest lap of the race for Ben McCluskey, which is more points. His championship rivals down here in 5th. And similar to what I just said with Cheverton and Kruger, Wessels realistically needs to be finishing in front of McCluskey if he really wants the battle in the championship to be more possible for him next time out at Le Mans. Side by side between Ben Outre and Harry Langford. Of course, there's also a battle for 4th in the championship. Langford has pretty much got 3rd secured, but off the track there goes Ben Outre, and he's got a crumpled front end, which might not be helping, but he'll drop down the order. He might be in the mix, the silver category drivers as well, which is led by Alan McCain at the moment. Now, Alan McCain is still waiting for that illustrious first win of his in category for quite some time, actually. First place at the moment. I'm keeping my mouth shut. Gabriel Papaconstantino leads in the bronze category. He leads from Mark Sykes. Both drivers have not scored a win yet this season. Mark Sykes nearly won at Bathurst a couple of rounds ago, but just missed out on it. Let's see if this one he can make it. George Stone, bad start to this race. 8th placing silver category, and he's behind a couple of bronze category drivers here, so something has dropped him off the pack here. He's seen an off track from him here, so let's just see what's happened there. Here's George Stone following Matthew Addy in front of him. He goes to the inside for the S's. Oh, he's hit the curb. Oh, and he spits him off the track. He's just avoided the barrier there as well. That's seriously close, and he's still in the race, but he's a long way back. End of the last lap. McCluskey set fastest lap of the race, and he's now within a second of Jake Pitt. Make that 6/10 he's within him. And Stephan Wessels is stuck behind Gaz Williams, who might well be doing a solid for his teammate here, helping him out and staying in front. But Jack Pittas right here, he's in the battle for 4th spot, and he is definitely in the better position of the bunch. He's ahead of Gaz Williams right now, and he's a long way clear of Ben Altria. Now, Jack Pittas has held 4th place in the championship for the majority of the championship, but until the drop rounds took place on conclusion of the last round, and will reset again after tonight, he dropped to 7th in the standings. So we'll see how things look after tonight. But 3rd place in this race right now is good for him. In the silver category, Cheverton 5th place here. He got past Matthew Addy. You might be able to take a look at how he did that. Here it is. He's in 5th place. He's just set fastest lap of his category. He's already to the inside on this replay here, heading down the Mario Andretti straight. I've got a feeling he's going to outbrake Matthew Addy. He's still actually coasting by him. And through he goes. And I think we just missed, but an overtake for 3rd place in silver category. This is Kruger making his way past Phil McDougall. This is heading down to turn number 5. No, it's turn number 3, do excuse me. But it just kind of seemed like Phil McDougall is letting by, but we've got a change in the lead. Just then, we just missed the end of it, but McCluskey's passed Jake Pitt. So here we go, here's Jake Pitt. It looked relatively easy from what I saw of the aftermath of when we rejoined there. As we head into the S's, Pitt is not really challenging here. McCluskey goes through, nice and easy. That will really frustrate Stephan Wessels. I don't think that was intentional to let him by, but Jake Pitt didn't put much of a challenge there. But it means McCluskey leads this race. Last time we saw Ben McCluskey win a race, it was Bathurst. It was the last endurance round we had, and that was an exemplar win from Ben McCluskey. It was actually, in my opinion, one of the best performances of the season from any driver. But tonight, within 7 minutes, he's gone from near the back of the grid to the top. Kruger makes his way by Paul Williams. That's for 2nd place in silver category. Here's how he got it done. And this will be heading into turn number 4 and 5. He got a good exit, and Paul Williams had a bad exit from 3. I've got him alongside. He was able to hang it around the outside, which is incredibly difficult to do on turn 4 there. And through he goes. Cheverton is back here in 5th place. He's within sight of Jeffrey Kruger up here, but it's the points that matter, not the time. And Kruger is here. He's got Alan McCain a couple of seconds up the road. Now, Alan McCain, in the latter part of this season, has really come to form. Has got some great pace. So we'll have to see if Kruger can close in on McCain. McCain has been in situations where he's led races, and it's not quite come to him, the victory. But in the bronze category, Papa Constantino still leads, and it's Mark Sykes in 2nd position. Oh, hang on a minute. Matthew Addy dropping down the order a little bit. No, it's Paul Williams, sorry. Dropping down the order then. And I think Phil McDougall also dropped down the order a little bit. So here we go. This is Paul Williams and Phil McDougall. And that'll let through Cheverton into 3rd place. That's Cheverton at the back of this pack. So as we head into turn number 2, let's see what happens. Oh, both of them just go wide there. I think Phil McDougall was potentially copying the line of Paul Williams, trying to learn the track maybe, I don't know. It's normally what you do, is copy the person in... Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, we have got a safety car. I had no awareness of that. A full course caution, do excuse me. So something's happened on the track, and that has caused drivers to slow down to a crawl. Not entirely sure why that is. Okay, so everything's being brought down to a crawl. It doesn't really bunch up the pack like what a full safety car procedure would do. Don't have that in this GT3 Championship. It's more like a virtual safety car. So the pack will not get closed up, but it allows cars to get reset. There are a couple of drivers off the track, but I didn't see any crashes actually that potentially could have caused this. Another lap completed for Ben McCluskey here at the 10-minute mark, and even though there is a full course caution here, it does not stop the timer. So this helps drivers save fuel as well, all the more crucial. And there we go, we are green flag conditions now, and racing will resume. I have no information as to what that caution was for, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea. Oh, and there's another incident. Oh, and just about avoiding it was all of the bronze category drivers were there, but that was Sean Shoup on the restart there. Oh, and there was contact between him and Gabriel Papaconstantino. Oh, and that sends a driver into the back of him there, and I think that was Rob Savage, and he'll have a lot of damage on his car. Shoots in the pits, but here's Rob Savage. He'll have damage on his car, and that's not going to help him when it comes to the championship situation. He's got a little bit of a crumpled front end there. He's got George Stone, one of his teammates, right behind him there. Adam Wilson-Weir is up the road there. Third place for him at the moment. He hasn't got any targets to hit now. He's just got to prepare himself for next season, where inevitably he'll be in a higher category. Let's look back to the silver category now. That full course caution might not have helped Alan McCain there, because Jeffrey Kruger has been able to close in. He's right behind Alan McCain there. And this is something that's been a bit of a talking point of this season, is drivers' times have either increased or decreased when a full course caution is called. Here we go, Jeffrey Kruger looking to the inside of Alan McCain there. Did look for the move, but didn't complete it. But on that last lap, all the more notable, Cheverton got fastest lap of the racing category. So that means he's got the bonus points, and if he keeps himself in front of Kruger, that's more points away from Kruger. So Kruger will want to dispose of McCain fairly quickly. He could do it here. Alan McCain giving a little bit of room to make sure he doesn't get any contact with Kruger, but this is close here for the silver category lead. McCain at the front of them. We've seen battles between these three in races this season. Zandvoort was one of them, and the more notable one, where McCain led the majority of the race, and in the final few laps, final 5 minutes of the race, it came undone and he dropped down the order. And similar happened at another round that I can't quite remember off the top of my head. It might have been Bathurst, thinking about it. But we got another top three battle in the silver category on the cards here. Meanwhile, in the gold category, it's still McCluskey at the top of the order. 8/10 clear, as we saw Steinvaten's off the track there. Steinvaten's had a good race one, not such a good race two here. Pittas still holds this battle for third place from Gaz Williams and Steph Wessels, and Harry Langford is at the tail of it. Check back in with the silver category. Look how close Cheverton is to the back of Jeffrey Kruger. Had to back off a little bit as they went over the hill there. But Mosport here, we are noticing it is quite tricky to overtake here. And McCain gets out of the slipstream of Kruger behind. But up ahead, Alan McCain has got a little bit of slipstream from Ben Outre helping him out. Of course, Ben Outre is trying to recover his race a little bit. This could be interesting to see how long this silver battle will rage on for. Mark Sykes is also fighting for top spot in the bronze category. Not too far behind is Adam Wilson-Weir. Papa Constantino holds this lead for the moment, and this is good for his team. Aztec Racing with Ford Mustang. It's good for their championship points as Ben Altria has gone wide there on the outside in the silver category, swerved to the right to avoid Ben Altria just in case he spins across the track, and this might disrupt things a little bit in the silver category as Cheverton dives up the inside to try and keep up with Kruger. But Ben Altria has the right to fight for his overall position there. But they're all in front. But Cheverton has dropped back a little bit of time here, trying to get past the full tilt Mustang there. Cheverton has a little bit of ground to make back up to Kruger. But that was a little bit of a disruption in the silver category that they themselves probably wouldn't have wanted. Meet up with these a little bit later on. Still the same order as we saw earlier. Jack Pittas at the front of this pack, third place, right behind Gaz Williams, and on that last lap Jack Pittas sets a personal best. Ben McCluskey is pulling away slowly but surely, and this puts him in a real good opportunity to win the race here, and this will be very beneficial for his championship. Extra 25 points, and let's just take a look at the best times of the race. He's also got the bonus points, so it's 26 points out of this race. Stephan Wessels currently sits in 5th position. Oh, hang on a minute, oh my word, something's happened back here to the silver category. Kruger's dropped down to 3rd place and he's fallen back here. Right, let's keep an eye on it. This is Jeffrey Kruger in the middle of our screen here. Still right behind McCain at this point. Oh, as he goes into the back of Alan McCain, Cheverton sneaks to the inside and it turns around Kruger. The two championship rivals came together. That drops Kruger down a few positions. Well, overall positions, it drops him back quite a bit of time actually. Cheverton through into 2nd place. He's dropped time a little bit to Alan McCain, but crucially for him, it puts him into 2nd place. That puts a completely different dynamic on the championship situation now. Very interesting indeed. But yeah, Stephan Wessels, you're in 5th place at the moment, trying to plot when he gets this move done. It is difficult to overtake here at Mosport. But with the way things stand right now in these results, the championship situation would be that heading out of this round there'd be a 30-point gap between Ben McCluskey and Stephan Wessels, with McCluskey heading that battle. Is side by side here between Gaz Williams and Pittas. Williams took to the outside at the S's. He'll have the inside for this one, but now the outside for this next one. But Williams has powered it around the outside really well here, but that invites Wessels through to the inside for this next corner. Pittas guards the inside still, but Gaz Williams might have to relinquish 4th place here. As Steph Wessels is through. There we go, that's more points, and Langford might be joining in as well. Gaz Williams flashing his lights there. I don't think he was happy about something there. I didn't see any contact, but he must be something he's not happy with there. But that puts Wessels through into 4th place. That's more points as we were just talking about there. One more point that is. So that means 29 points in the championship situation heading out of tonight between Wessels in 2nd and McCluskey in 1st. Silver category, and Matthew Cheverton in 2nd position right now. Doesn't hold fastest lap. That's held by George Stone right now. But the situation heading out of tonight as things stand. The silver category would be a 15-point gap as things stand. So realistically, Cheverton needs another place on Kruger, and he needs Kruger to stay in 3rd place if he really wants the silver category to be tighter heading into Le Mans. As Ben Altria struggles to enter the pits there. Might we see that from other drivers tonight, because it is a very tight corner to get it into the pits. Ben Altra just about got away with that. But yes, in the silver category, as it stands, the way things are now, a 15-point gap between Cheverton and Kruger heading into the final round. And that is the same points gap as first to fourth in endurance races. So that would mean that next week Kruger would just need to finish fourth or higher. That's on an as things stand basis. Of course, things can change with post-race penalties. Of course they can. Stephan Wessels. Sixth place for him right here. He's dropped down the order a little bit. Let's just check in here. He might have just about missed this. But this is him right behind Gaz Williams. Oh, and it was just up ahead. Stephan Wessels has had a half spin there. Right, let's go back to that. So this is him on the outside of Jack Pittas. They head into the S's. And the rear end just gives way on him. And that's why he's lost a lot of time and positions. So that drops him back to 6th place. This really is going largely in the favour of McCluskey right now. But there's still time in this race. Of course, anything can happen next week. I believe, to my knowledge of the rules, Le Mans next week that will not count as a drop round. It didn't last season. But McCluskey here, this will probably be one of the easier races he's had of the season. And we will watch his lap 1 on board, because that must have been some lap 1 he had as he got to 2nd place by the end of the lap. From 9th on the grid, I might add. Cheverton is gaining back on Alan McCain a little bit, and on that last lap, well, wasn't quicker. And Jeffrey Kruger was slower as well. McCain has got a prime opportunity here to try and take his first win, but Cheverton will be desperate for that win because there's more points on his rival. Which is Kruger behind him, which is what he needs. Fastest lap of the race for George Stone. Silver category, he's very, very quick, but not such a good start to the race. Left him down the order here, but there's no denying that he's got some serious pace tonight, as we're seeing a battle for the bronze category lead as well. And it's a three-way fight. Papa Constantino at the front, Mark Sykes in 2nd place. He's wriggling around trying to find a way around the Mustang, and Adam Wilson-Weir is at the tail of this battle as well, just watching. Around the outside goes Mark Sykes, very brave move. Oh, he can't keep it to the outside. Closing the door there is Papa Constantino. Up the hill and the Mario Andretti straight we go. Adam Wilson-Weir has got to the right side of Mark Sykes, heading out of the Moss corner back there. And he'll have the inside for the S's here. So Mark Sykes trying to go for a heroic move on the outside. Has not worked out in his favour. Through goes Adam Wilson-Weir, and Mark Sykes is going to lose out to George Stone as well here, protecting his teammate. And you might notice Adam Wilson-Weir has got a gold stripe down the middle of his car, and that might be somewhat of a signal to his championship win. Maybe. Unless it's been there the whole time and I haven't noticed. Maybe the gold strip is to tell people that he needs to be in gold category next season. We'll move on. Adam Wilson-Weir now has an opportunity to try and take the lead of the race, but he has a little mistake out of 2 there, and that gets George Stone on the back of him. But that's not George Stone he really needs to worry about for the category win. It's Papa Constantino right in front. Oh, and there's a smoking car up ahead. Whoa, that's Jamie Dory's car. That's in a very, very ill state at the moment. He's trying to limp it back to the pits. And I think the engine has crashed. Oh, there we go. We got a full course caution again. And I think that's due to the stricken car of Jamie Dory. So that puts things to a halt. as in the pits is Ben McCluskey, and that means he's not going to lose as much time in these pits. And neither will other drivers, to be fair to them. But Jake Pitts stayed out, which is really not going to be in his favour. But McCluskey's pitted. And we saw similar to that of Max Verstappen at Imola last weekend in the Formula 1, where he was able to pit at the right time due to a VSC and safety car. But we've got full course caution here. Back out on the track goes Ben McCluskey. That's going to be a very advantageous pit stop for him. Alan McCain did not pit either. But Matthew Cheverton has. I truthfully think pitting now is the right thing to do. It will lose you the least amount of time on the track. Stephan Wessels is back out on the track. He's behind Harry Langford and Jack Pittas, but this might help him to fourth at least. There's Cheverton, and Gaz Williams has not had a good stop there. He's back here. It's Jake Pitts. You see here, Ben McCluskey, even though he went through the pits, is only as far back as turn 3 here. And Jake Pitt is only entering turn 4 now. So, this is going to be bad news for Jake Pitt. It means he's going to lose a lot of places when he does decide to pit. Adam Wilson-Weir didn't pit. Neither did Mark Sykes, but Papa Constantino did. I truthfully think this is the more advantageous thing to do. Is to pit. Now Jamie Doy's in the pit, so realistically we can go racing again. And as soon as you hear the cars put their foot down, we'll hear racing commence. And if we see Ben McCluskey here, just up the road there, inspecting the distance there is Jake Pitt. There we go, we are green. Again here at Mosport, we've had 2 full course cautions. And when they cross the split, yeah, see, that's a huge amount of time saved for McCluskey and other drivers who decided to pit then as well. I think McCain, this hasn't worked out for him either. In the pits goes Jake Pitt. He's got no other choice really. He's better off doing it now rather than later. Unless another full course caution did come along. It's the only thing you could say. But this is going to lose Jake Pitt a lot of positions. He tumbles down the gold category order. But Matthew Cheverton pitting might have been a stroke of genius, as he might be able to get to the top spot when eventually Alan McCain heads into the pits. He's only 9 seconds up the up the road. Adam Wilson-Weir pits. Mark Sykes stays out, but Papa Constantino is already passed. So that's going to lose Adam Wilson-Weir a lot of places. So Papa Constantino with Rob Savage not too far behind, and bear in mind neither of these 2 drivers have won races this season. Oh, as our connection takes a little bit of a blip there. Might have been the server, but yep, a little bit of a blip there. Jonathan Berry's within winning grasp here as well, so it could well be between Papa Constantino, Savage and Jonathan Berry. Adam Wilson-Weir has only just exited the pits here, see. So he's a long way back. And this is going to be similar to what Mark Sykes gets drawn. Kane is going to be another driver in a troublesome situation when he eventually pits as well, similar to Mark Sykes. Not a good day for the next-gen drivers. Well, these 2 next-gen drivers. McCluskey would be very happy that that happened. It saved him quite a lot of time. Stephan Wessels in 4th place here. That's better points for him. As things stand heading out of this round, it's a 29-point gap between Wessels and McCluskey. That realistically means McCluskey would have to finish 7th or lower next week, and Wessels to win the race for the championship to go to Wessels. But at the same time, with there not being a drop round eligible next week, you see Rob Savage in the pits. We're heading out of the pits right now as Adam Wilson-Weir has passed back by. So Rob Savage didn't pit during that full course caution either. So that helps out Papa Constantino, and actually neither did Jonathan Berry. He's heading out of the pits as well. Papa Constantino is in a real big opportunity here to win this race. If he can keep things on the straight and narrow. Mark Sykes carries on. He's got enough fuel to keep it going. He's going to go long, go as far as he can. And what he'll be thinking, and I'm sure Alan McCain will be the same, they'll be hoping for another caution. But as we were talking about with next week, it's not a drop round, so it means if you retire from next week's race, you get 0 points. That's all to be considered as well, and that could very well happen to any of our championship protagonists. Cheverton right ahead of Gaz Williams. Gaz Williams is in the gold category. And not too far behind these is Jeffrey Kruger, 3rd place in category. As things stand heading out of tonight's rounds, it'll be just an 11-point gap. Well, in fact, that's incorrect. Be a 13-point gap, I believe. Yeah, 13-point gap between them heading into next week. So that's close. Probably not as close as Cheverton would probably want. But it's all the more possible for him. There are 2 CSA drivers going for championships this season. One of them is Stephan Wessels, as we mentioned, in the gold category, and Jeffrey Kruger in the silver category, so that it's safe to say they've had a very, very good season. Last season they had one champion in the form of Elwyn Sykes. In the silver category it was Ben Bennyworth of Quatermass. He's not racing tonight, sadly, as Mark Sykes is now in the pits from the bronze category, and that drops him down to 5th place at the moment. Cheverton lets through. Gaz Williams not getting in the way too much of him, letting him by. Different races to be had by them. Jack Pittas still holding 2nd place here with Harry Langford right behind him. Now, Langford being behind Jack Pittas, he'll lose less than if it was the other way around. Jack Pittas will score a big amount of points on his rivals for 4th place in the championship, holding 2nd position in category right now. Alan McCain is the only driver out there, I believe, that hasn't pitted yet. Go. That's confirmation of it. No pit lap from Alan McCain. Could this be it? Yes, it is. Oh, he crossed over the yellow line there. I'm not sure if that's going to flag him. The fastest lap of the race just then from Adam Wilson-Weir, which gets him the bonus points. They, in the bronze category, are 30 seconds down from Papa Constantino, who has had his pit stop. As McCain pits, it's Cheverton into the lead of the race with Kruger just behind. 13-point gap it will be in the championship as things stand, heading out of tonight. Bonus points for fastest lap will change things, but that's currently held by George Stone. They'll need the fuel tanks to get lighter later in the race for the lap times to get closer to fastest lap of the race. McCain rejoins the race in 6th place in category. It's not going to be tonight that he gets his category win. He rejoins just behind Papa Constantino, who leads outright in the bronze category here by 30 seconds. And Aztec Racing have got drivers in first, so it will be a huge haul of points for them in the championship from this race. The team's championship, that is. Forward to Langford, he's real close to his teammates, working together to keep themselves safe in 2nd and 3rd in category here. Stephan Wessels is back here in 4th. These guys are 6 seconds down from McCluskey, our race leader. 25 minutes to go in this race, and he must feel his one hand on the trophy, but he will not let up. Next week he'll still go for it and keep himself out of trouble. The other significant thing is, I mentioned about DNFs earlier, will score you nil points, and there's no drop rounds in Le Mans next week. Championship leaders also start at the back of their category. It is championship order reversed, and that will be each category, and that will be for the final round at Le Mans next week. We'll be live on Next Gen Racing TV, on YouTube, Facebook and Kick, usual time next week. Certainly do tune in for, well, it's pretty much a 24 hours of Le Mans preview, but in Next Gen form. As we see, George Stone has made his way past Paul Williams into 4th place. He's having a good night, is George Stone, and here's how he got it done. And this is turn number 3. Paul Williams a little bit wide there. And as we head out of the corner, George Stone has just had a much better exit. And I think Paul Williams has let off the throttle a little bit there, deciding not to fight that battle. George Stone having one of his better nights of the season, it's got to be said. 4th place for him right now. This man who leads in silver category at the moment. 6th place overall on the track as well. And he's the biggest mover of the field overall as well, is Matthew Cheverton. So heading out of Tuesday night, where he got a 3-peat of wins, he might be heading out of tonight with a repeat of wins. So it could be 5 wins in 5 races for Cheverton this week at Next Gen Racing. That is some achievement. I don't think anyone else would have done that in their category, let's just say, at all in Next Gen. I don't have the archives of the history books at Next Gen to my at my feet. But I'll imagine that is something, a record worth boasting about for Cheverton. Still close between these two, the Quatermass drivers. At this point, I think they're very much working together to just stretch away from Wessels behind. I can imagine Wessels might be feeling a little bit frustrated in the cockpit there of his car. 4th place with McCluskey far up the road, who had a much better lap 1. Had a little bit of luck as well with being able to pit at that full course caution. The other driver that's really benefited from the pit stop is Papa Constantino, leading at the moment. British Cypriot driver of Aztec Racing. And the time is coming down between him and Adam Wilson-Weir, but the time is not going to come down that much. That the half a minute gap is shrunk to 0, unless anything happens to Papa Constantino, a mistake that will drop that time. Fastest lap holders in each category at the moment. It's McCluskey, championship leader of gold category, championship leader of bronze category, Adam Wilson-Weir, and George Stone of the silver category. And the closest battles on track are this one, which is Gaz Williams and Matthew Cheverton, arguably not full category. And this one here, Quatermass drivers, Pittas and Langford. So that's the thing we see a lot in this round 9 of the championship. We saw it last season actually, where drivers become more cautious of what position they actually in, and they tend to stay put in their positions, I suppose, to make sure they themselves don't mess up and they don't get caught up in any drama, and they just cash in the points, so to speak. And I get the sense, and that's what quite a few of these drivers are doing right now. And I do think these two drivers really are helping themselves out. Langford helping out his teammates as into the pits. Then we just saw Robert Savage heading into the pits, so that's an unscheduled pit stop. I wonder if that is a penalty that he's having to serve. But that's going to drop Rob Savage down the order, as you can see on our timing tower, down to 5th place. 6th place now. Alan McCain is gaining on 5th place runner Paul Williams. And McCain might be able to get himself back into the top 5 here. Rob Savage. Oh no! A big instant there at turn number 2. Massive instant with Mark Baker not seeing the car on the inside of the corner there. That would have been very scary if it was a real life situation there. Thank heavens it wasn't. And this is Rob Savage heading out of the pits. It's around the corner. Oh, it just understeers off. He didn't go into the corner at the right angle at all. Hits the barrier and he's stuck on the inside there. And Mark Baker comes around the corner, cannot see it. Racing continues. Rob Savage is back in the pits, and Mark Baker is limping back. He's got a tyre missing on the car, and I think I did see one bouncing in the background just a few corners ago actually, so somehow he's dragging that back. So we're just going to go here, and there we go, that's Mark Baker going into the wall. And at some point we're going to see the tyre go loose on the car. There it is. Fantastic damage model from iRacing. Concerning for anyone on the track. Now that would cause a full course caution normally. I'm not sure why it hasn't this time around, but look at that. Somehow he's got that back. Reminds me of my rallies. Of course, if you know me, you know I love my rallying. I stream it a lot on Sundays on my channel, and that's a very familiar sight for myself. He takes the fast repair here, it's back out on track. It was a very scary crash indeed. In real life, that would have been absolutely terrifying, so thank God it was virtual. We resume racing here. Alan McCain still behind Paul Williams, looking for a way by. And there's just over a quarter of this race to go. All pit stops have been had, all scheduled pit stops have been had. Anyone else that goes into the pits at this point will either be down to an instant, taking a fast repair, or it will be due to a drive-through penalty. There's Alan McCain here getting a big undercut out of the corner, not able to get it alongside Paul Williams yet, but you can see Mosport allows you to try different lines to try and get the better of your opponent, as he took a look to the inside at turn number 5 there, but it means he's got to stamp on the brakes for the middle of the corner there to get it through the next part of the corner. It is a very tricky corner indeed, is Moss corner. Technically it's 2 corners, well technically it's 3. But it is very, very tricky to get through those corners in any car. As Alan McCain is close to Paul Williams again, he's had a good run down the straight here. Takes a look to the outside that the S is. Not able to get it alongside, but he'll line him up for the next couple of corners. Stays behind. Needs to take late apexes here to make sure he gets a nice straight line exit for the next straight. And Paul Williams had a slow exit there, and is McCain able to pull out and get to the inside for turn 1? No, he isn't. Paul Williams has guarded that inside quite well there. Into turn 2. We have less than 15 minutes left in this race. After the race we'll have post-race interviews. We'll hopefully have one with our already crowned champion Adam Wilson-Weir of our bronze category. And we'll also take a look at some replays as well. One replay we'll definitely look at is Ben McCluskey's opening lap of the race. He stretches to a more than 9-second lead now in the gold category. Cheverton still with a near 4-second lead in category. And that's Ben Altria at the tail of this little group here. Ben Altria is not fighting in category, but he'll still get involved in some battles, because at this point drivers will not be caring so much about their championship position. They'll be racing more for consolation points and positions, but also having good on-track battles. Ben Altria gets a much better exit from the S's there than both drivers ahead. It doesn't plot a move yet into turn number 1 on McCain. Now, the gap between Adam Wilson-Weir and Gabriel Papaconstantino is coming down. It doesn't allow us to see the relative, but yeah, you can see on the timing tower there, it is a 24-second gap. Or as Adam Wilson-Weir goes very wide there, you can tell just how much he's pushing there. You can see the gap between himself and Papaconstantino. He must be thinking, I'll take the challenge on. But it's going to be interesting to see Adam Wilson-Weir if we get next season. I have no information to me as to what a next season will be for Next Gen on Thursday nights. But if Adam Wilson-Weir wants to go into silver category, it'll be interesting to see how he does compared. I'm presuming also that Kruger and Cheverton will probably end up in the gold category as well. They've definitely got the capability for it. So it could be a real shake-up for a next season at Next Gen in this GT3 league for what could be the Season 8. Could we see prototypes? Could we see other forms of racing? I'm not too sure. I have no information. Trust me. But maybe I can wrangle some information out of the admins ready for next week. Of course, next week, final round of the championship at Le Mans. And the championship battles that are up for the grabs are this battle for P1 in the championship and silver category. This person here, Kruger, heads the championship as it stands, heading into the final round by 13 points. And also, this man holds the lead in the gold category championship. As things stand, that would be a gap of 29 points. Here's the other protagonist in the championship, Stephan Wessels. He certainly will be feeling that without the bad luck at the start of the season, this would have been a much closer affair, a real close affair between him and McCluskey. And there was potentially a third championship battalion in the ranks in the form of Lucas Seedor, and maybe Langford with a little bit more luck to him this season as well. Could have been a four-way battle this season in gold category. It hasn't quite turned out that way, unfortunately. But it shows the great amount of skill that's in this championship, and how just one bad round, one small mistake can really cost things in this championship. It's about ultimate perfection here. The nearest you can get to perfection in a championship like this. Just over 10 minutes to go. Matthew Cheverton, to celebrate that, sets fastest lap of the race. Opens the gap up to 4 seconds from Jeffrey Kruger. Setting a time 3/10 quicker than him on that last lap, as we saw a car off the track just in that short shoot. 8th place in gold category, a lap down. But Cheverton will hold bonus points for the silver category, and that's what he's been going for the last couple of laps. That gets him an extra point. And that means a 12-point gap on the championship for next week. Which means that if Cheverton won next week with bonus points and Kruger finished third, exactly third, it would go on count back of wins. So which Kruger has more race wins. He's got 8, actually, does Jeffrey Kruger. Cheverton would have 5 at that point. I do sincerely hope it doesn't get to that. But yes, close quarters in the silver category would probably be the one we keep an eye on most throughout next week, barring anything dramatic happening in the gold category. But in terms of wins for drivers this season, in the gold category, Stephan Wessels has won the most races. 5 sprint race wins he's had this season. How many sprint races have there been this season, I'm wondering. He's won all bar 2 sprint races this season. The other 2 coming from Lucas Seedorf, and that they were at Watkins Glen and Snetterton. All other sprint races have been won by this man Wessels. Ben McCluskey here is on course for his 3rd win of the season. Only 3, yes. He won another feature race, which was, I believe, Watkins Glen. And an endurance win, which was at Bathurst, and arguably probably the better of the wins he's had this season. Other wins in the gold category, Harry Langford has had 2 race victories this season. One of them last time out at Silverstone Grand Prix circuit in the feature race, and the feature race of Portimao just 2 weeks ago. And Ben Eltritt is another race winner this season. He scored a race win at Zandvoort. And we're just going to go to maybe we're not, but there has been a swap of position between Langford and Jack Pittas. Happened some time ago. Apologies for missing that. This is how it happened, and I wonder if it was a tactical swap. A little bit of a push to the rear end there. Oh, onto the grass as well, so I got a feeling it wasn't. It was racing for racing between them two. And through goes Langford. Steph Wessels is now right behind Jack Pittas. There's an opportunity at more points. But just while we watch this take place, let's carry on with what we were talking about. Lucas Seedorf, who quit the championship after a couple of rounds. 2 wins for him in sprint races. They were at Snetterton and Watkins Glen. Corey Price in the gold category won the endurance round at Montreal. And Carl Eastayson won the feature race, I believe, at Misano, which was round 1 of the championship. And Carl Eastayson, last season's silver category champion, has not taken part in the rest of the season after a couple of rounds, unfortunately. Oh, there's a spin up ahead. That's Harry Langford. Oh, and he's lost positions. Let's just see how that happened. There's no one around him, so it's done on his own. So let's just see how that happened. Yeah, it just goes around. It's the classic braking and turning and losing the rear end. It's a classic on iRacing, and that's happened to Langford, and he drops down to 5th place now as a result. That's putting Pittas in danger of Wessels now, because there's no slipstream for Pittas to help him out. There's just a couple more minutes to go, a couple more laps to go, and Wessels is all over the rear, and this is really going to help his championship out now. Something is falling in the favour of Wessels here, and it's second place right in front of him. Can he get it? While we're watching this take place, more statistics. 8 race wins this season in silver category for Jeffrey Kruger. He's had 6 sprint race wins this season as Jeffrey Kruger. The only one he hasn't won is today's sprint race. He's won 1 feature race win and 1 endurance, whereas Matthew Cheverton has had 3 feature race wins, and another one could be coming tonight, and 1 sprint race win, which was tonight. So things get close now between Pittas and Wessels. Guarding the inside is Pittas as he goes back onto the racing line, ready for the S's here. The winners in silver category. Phil McDougall won the endurance round at Bathurst, and Jason Rath won the feature race at Portimao 2 weeks ago. Only 4 different winners in the silver category, and only 4 different winners in the bronze category as well. Most race wins going to Adam Wilson-Weir, of course. 8 wins. He's had 5 in sprints, 2 in features, and 1 in the endurances. Jonathan Berry has had 2 sprint race wins and 1 feature race win. 2 feature race wins have gone to Danny Switzer this season, and an endurance race win which came at Bathurst for Wesley Lewin. So the category that's had the most race winners is the gold category, with 7 different race winners. We are closing in on the final minutes and laps of this race, and look how close Wessels is to the back of Jack Pittas. He's going to take to the outside of the S's. He's not late enough on the brakes, so he's going to have to line it up and try and make a move towards turn number 1. But Pittas is covering this very, very well at the moment. Right on the rear end, heading down to turn number 1. He's got to the inside, but he's not late enough on the brakes. Holding it around the outside is Pittas, and he keeps it on the track. For Pittas, this is him getting crucial points for 4th in the championship to be closer to his. And Wessels, this is important for him to get closer to McCluskey in the title championship fight. So this is a lot at stake for both drivers. And Gaz Williams is lurking around in the back there as well in 4th place. He's closing in on this battle. And we'll have about 2 laps to go when McCluskey crosses the line. And after the race we'll get interviews, ladies and gentlemen. To the outside goes Wessels. Is he going to be later on the brakes to the S's? No, he's not. He's going to tap back in behind. It's very difficult to overtake on the outside there at the S's. 2 minutes to go. Next time around we'll see the white flag, and a little bit out of shape heading out of the corner there was Jack Pittas. And closing in on the rear of this pack is Gaz Williams in the Mustang. He might be able to join in. He needs to finish ahead of Jack Pittas, Gaz Williams does, to make 4th in the championship all the more possible for himself. Into turn 3, to the inside goes Wessels. Big move to the inside. Can he hold it round the corner? Yes, he can. He's through and in front. Pittas is going to try and fight back though. Going into turn 5 is going to be a very daring move if he can make that. But he doesn't. Wessels into 2nd place. Wessels has had a little bit of a lifesaver there in that he's able to get into this position here. But for him, it keeps things more hopeful for next week. 25 points as things stand between himself and McCluskey in the championship. As McCluskey will see the white flag and will start his final lap in this race in what will be his 2nd feature race win of the season. Gaz Williams is close. He might be able to get third here. Guarding the inside is Pittas. Not allowing Gaz Williams to get to the inside. Through turn 3. Nothing yet from Williams. McCluskey is on the final stretch now. Just a couple more corners to go for him. This is the battle for third, the final spot on the podium. Pretty much the battle for fourth in the championship. And here we go. Heading through the final few corners. Ben McCluskey is going to take another win, and this surely will put one hand on the trophy. He's got one more race to go, and it's the big one next week, 2 hours at Le Mans. He has a 25-point lead in the championship heading into next week by my calculations. But Stephan Wessels will come through for a solid third place. Not what he would have wanted, but it's second place, and still a strong finish for him. And across the line, finishing third place was Jack Pittas from Gaz Williams, the two of which were battling for fourth in the championship. Matthew Cheverton wins the feature race here, and it's 5 wins from 5 this week for Matthew Cheverton in Next Gen. A fantastic week for him. And Jeffrey Kruger comes through in second place at the silver category, and Matthew Addy third place, and that puts one hand closer to the bronze trophy in silver category. Wait, third place trophy in silver category for him. Gabriel Papaconstantino will be extremely pleased with how this panned out tonight. He's lost a lot of time to Adam Wilson-Weir in this race, and he has crossed the line already to win the race. But Papaconstantino has won the bronze category, his first race win of the season. He did it by pitting at the absolute right time when the caution came, and that's what got him the victory tonight. Adam Wilson-Weir still gets a good second place finish, and Jonathan Berry, third place, didn't take part in the sprint, but straight into the seat and straight in for third place. Fantastic driving all around, really. And what I'm going to try and see is the championship situation for fourth in the championship in gold category heading out of tonight. Jack Pittas in that race would have scored an additional 19 points, and Gaz Williams an additional 17 points. And Ben Altria finished down in 7th in this race, which gets 14 points. It's real close between Ben Altria, Gaz Williams and Jack Pittas. Mike Barber will drop off a little bit. 0 points for him from this round. Will go to what will be his drop round. But Gaz Williams now takes fourth in the championship on 183 points. 182 points for Ben Altria and 180 points for Jack Pittas heading out of tonight's round. So 3 points separate 4th, 5th and 6th heading into next week. 25 points separate 1st and 2nd in gold category heading into next week. And in the silver category, 12 points separates Kruger and Cheverton heading into next week. And that's all by my calculations, to remind you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have a rundown of our results. In the gold category, Ben McCluskey takes the win from Stephan Wessels, and third place, Jack Pittas, just ahead of Gaz Williams. A great fight between them two towards the end. Harry Langford, the mistake for him, drops him from 2nd down to 5th position, and Jake Pitt finishes 6th place, having started pole position in this race. Ben Altria finishing 7th position, and non-finishers or far back were Jamie Dory, Sean Shute and Jesse Payne-Wilkins. In the silver category, Matthew Cheverton takes the win in the silver category, making it a near maximum points round for him. In fact, was it a maximum points round for him? No, it wasn't. He was just shy of a fastest lap in the sprint race, but near perfection for Matthew Cheverton tonight. And he finishes just ahead of his championship rival, Jeffrey Kruger, which means heading into next week, it's a 12-point gap in the championship between them two, which means that if Kruger can get third position or higher with bonus points, that's with bonus points, he wins the championship. If he finishes second or higher, he's guaranteed it. Cheverton must win the race next season and get bonus points, realistically, if he wants to go for that championship. But we'll see what happens next week at Le Mans. But continuing the silver category results, Matthew Addy is third position. That puts one hand on the third place trophy for him heading out of tonight, but he's got next week to secure it. Paul Williams, fourth position for him, with George Stone, who did very well in the sprint race, finishes fifth. Phil McDougall in 6th position from Alan McCain in 7th, who led some of this race, and Mark Baker finishing in 8th in silver category. In the bronze category, our race winner was Gabriel Papaconstantino, arguably with the best strategy of the race, pitting during the full course caution. He wins from Adam Wilson-Weir, who's already crowned champion in the bronze category, and Jonathan Berry in 3rd position, fighting for 2nd in the championship. Mark Sykes, 4th position from Michael Evangeli, and Stein Vatens in 6th, Robert Savage in 7th, and Matt Gatter in 8th. We haven't got any interviews yet, but I'm going to nag people for some. And we'll get some interviews lined up very, very shortly. But let's take a look to lap 1 of the race, because we have got to watch this on board with Ben McCluskey. So bear in mind, Ben McCluskey started 9th in this race, I believe. So here we go. Powers down. There's Gaz Williams to his left. He'll pass first. There we go. That's Gaz Williams pass first. And then there's Jack Pittas next up ahead. But let's just see what happens. It must be at some point on this lap that a huge amount of places were gained. Someone goes wide there. That's one of the Quatermass cars. That might have been Harry Langford. Past Pittas he goes with good acceleration out of this corner. Now Ben Altria is next. Ben Altria's got a way up the road here. So yes, that's Jamie Dory getting out of shape there. That bunches up the pack a little bit here. Payne Wilkins up ahead as well. And that's Payne Wilkins spun around, and there we go. That's McCluskey able to get around the pack there. Caught up in the instant, and that gets him 2nd place. Oh, we have got some interviews lined up. Okay. So, we are going to go to our first interview of the night, and we can finally say this season that we can crown a champion in the Next Gen Racing Season 7. It's our bronze category champion, Adam Wilson-Weir, who has won the bronze category championship. So Adam, me and you were chatting just before the race. You kind of knew you had it roughly in the bag already, but you've got to the end of the season for what's been a very dominant season, but a very hard working season at the same time. So just initially, what are your reactions following this victory of yours?
I'm pleased, of course. You know, from last season, I was kind of a mid-pack driver, and then at the end, I kind of started creeping up there, so the progression was happening. But I mean, at Daytona, I think it was just salt and the wind for me. So I was so determined this season. You know, it's like, this is it. This is my season.
Yes, absolutely. It certainly seemed like that coming into this season. The biggest difference for you, talk a little bit more about it, is the practice you've been having for this season. You've put so much pride into making sure you get the laps in before the races, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just, you know, my mindset of where I was at. You know, as I already spoke about last season, you know, it just gave me more determination. But not just me, you know, all the other guys from Mission are as well. They're putting the time in too, and if you look at Rob and John, like they've progressed so much from last season too. So I mean, I can't give any more praise to the both of them. They're right up there with me.
So the season's pretty much done and dusted for you now. You're not going to let off, and you're going to still try and win the races like what you did tonight, and I'm sure you go for Le Mans next week. But if there is indeed a next season, how are you feeling for next season, potentially that you'll be moving into silver category, some joking gold category? But let's talk about silver category first. How are you feeling retrospectively about that from this season's performances?
I mean, I'm ready for the challenge. I said to the guys tonight, I'm prepping for the step up. So all I can do is just keep my head down, keep going. And I'm sure the rest of the guys will do it too, because they want to step up to my position and then get up to silver as well. So, I mean, we just have to keep working as a team. At the minute now, the team championship's still on fight, so I'll still be pushing. But tonight I was kind of helping more with Rob, so I was staying behind him just to defend off Waitons, because I know he was really quick tonight.
Absolutely. Let's just talk a little bit about that race, because a lot of people rolled the dice with going into the pits during the full course caution. What was your thinking when that happens? Because you were one of the drivers that didn't pit during the full course caution.
Well, I mean, there was talk about it with the team. Actually, it was Rob that said, should we pit? And I can't remember who it was, but they said, oh no, stay out because the yellow's going to be ending soon. So I kind of just took the gamble, honestly. Hope for the best. It was one of them ones, just the way it fell. But I think for now on, we're going to be having discussions about full course yellows and stuff going forward. It's something we need to work on, obviously. So.
Yeah. And arguably there should have been cautions at other points in the race as well, which could have shook things up as well. But hey ho, it's a conversation for another time. But we got Le Mans next week. A favourite track of mine. Is it a favourite track of yours? I'm hearing some... I'm not hearing. I'm seeing some mutterings about George struggling at Le Mans. So what are your initial thoughts for next week?
Like usual, Alex, I need to buy it. But I hope it rains. I really do hope it's a wet race. It'll mix things up a bit. But I said to the guys, I always drill this into them. I say, listen, if you're not winning races, you're not consistent, because consistency wins races, and that's it. If you can get, anyone can hot lap, but if you can get fast by being consistent, you're going to win.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Consistency wins races, and you've won this season 8 races. So, yeah, we should all listen to you. That's for sure. Look, congratulations on winning the championship in bronze category. Pretty much 2 rounds early, because you kind of won it before you set foot on the track or set wheels on the track tonight. But for the penultimate time this season, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to that might be watching the broadcast tonight?
Yeah, firstly I just want to give a shout out to the full team for doing a fantastic job this season. I know it's not over yet, but there's still 2 more races, one more race. It's endurance, so just keep the head down, keep the consistency up and the speed. And I also want to give a shout out to all the sponsors, especially Moz Ice Cream, David Wilson, and Catcher Athletics and Dubby, and also everyone at home watching, and yourself, Alex, and the NXTGEN admins. Brilliant season this season, so thank you very much.
No problem at all. Well, congratulations, Adam. You are a bronze category champion. Go enjoy it.
Thank you very much. All the best.
There we go. And we'll just... these are updated points, by the way, that we were showing. This is confirmation that Adam Wilson-Weir is our champion, because Le Mans, I believe, is not a drop round, and it means that if you have a 52-plus point gap, you have won the championship, and that is more than 52 points between Adam Wilson-Weir and Jonathan Berry. It's very much still on between Jonathan Berry and Robert Savage, a 12-point gap, I believe that is, between the two of them, so that is very much still on between them. And technically, Gabriel Papaconstantino is an outsider for second in the championship. His win tonight definitely would have helped him there. But that is bronze category champion spoken to. What about the bronze category winner for tonight? We've got Gabriel Papaconstantino in the comms box with us, our winner in race 3. So first of all, Gabriel, can you hear us because you're new to the comms booth?
Yep, I'll read you loud and clear.
There we go, fantastic. Well, welcome along, Gabriel, and first of all, congratulations on the win there. A stroke of genius on the strategy here, albeit maybe copying other people, but still, we'll call it a genius with the strategy, and it was. You decided to come into the pits during that full course caution, and it got the better of all your opponents. What was the thinking going through your head that made that decision?
Yeah, well, what had really happened was it was Jake Pitt that he was supposed to come in, and he went, oh no, I haven't come in. So everyone was shouting at me, pull in, pull in, pull in, pull in, stop, pull in, stop. And at first I was like, are you sure? Are you really sure? So the guys at ATR, they were screaming down the Discord chat telling me to pull in. But yeah, luckily I did. And had to do a bit of fuel saving towards the end. But luckily, Benji caught me towards the end and was able to sort of lap me. And so I had about a lap at the line. So yeah, it all just sort of played right, and yeah, call it luck, call it what you want.
It's the only time you'll thank somebody for lapping you.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Brilliant. I'll never hear that ever again. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'll ever say it again.
But again, that comes into the tactics of multi-class racing and multi-category racing, isn't it? That, you know, you had to save fuel, and you saw that as kind of an opportunity to save fuel. So yeah, would you say, I don't know about driving wise, you'd have to comment on that, but would you say this is probably one of your highlights of the season, this race?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, at Silverstone I was pushing hard to try and get that win, but of course Adam's just been on fire this season, and of course he's won the championship tonight, he's confirmed that. So yeah, after last week there was a bit more oomph in this race to really try and get that. So yeah, starting towards the front for the feature, and then just getting a good start, keeping it clean, and yeah, again with the strategy, being lucky with that and taking advantage of that. But yeah, definitely a highlight.
Fantastic stuff. The season hasn't quite gone the way you probably would have wanted things to go, considering you were battling for the championship last season as well. You've got an outside chance of second in the championship, but what are you thinking preparing for not only next week at Le Mans, but perhaps a next season? How are you kind of reshaping your thoughts for the battle ahead?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like I mentioned before, Adam's been absolutely on fire. I mean, compared to last season, he's really quick. I'm hoping I can make a skill jump like that. But I think there was a bit of a learning sort of experience with this season with the Mustang. Moving from the Lamborghini, of course, last season, it was starting to show its age. So I thought I'd jump ship, move to the Mustang. And yeah, I think there was a bit of learning to do with that. Obviously, front engines, big V8, lots of torque. So a bit of misfortune as well with some races in terms of fuel saving and strategy. But yeah, I think hopefully next season will go a lot better than it has this season for me. But I mean, I'll definitely be pushing for that second place. I mean, maximise as much as we can. And we've also got team championship to push for. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of things in the Aztec camp, Cheverton's going for the championship next round. The team, you're trying to secure not only third, but you've got a chance at second position in the championship. So how are things in the Aztec camp right now?
Oh yeah, well happy. I mean, it's good on Matt. I mean, I presume you're going to have him in next, but Matt's had a good round this week, so hopefully that pushes him to try and get that championship next week. But yeah, I mean, all in all, we're very happy with how it's gone. And I mean, like we say, with the moving to the Mustangs, with the learning experience, hopefully next season things get even better.
Did you just confirm a rumour that Adam's moving to your team?
I
caught ya.
don't think so. I was going to say, I haven't heard anything of it.
Front page of Autosport.
I mean, I wouldn't mind
tomorrow.
it. I wouldn't mind it if he wanted to. I wouldn't mind it at all.
Okay, front page of Autosport tomorrow.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah.
Yeah, Le Mans is next week. I get the feeling that the Mustang might well be a favoured car for next week, with it having better top-end speed than the Porsche. But how about you for next week at Le Mans? Is it a track you particularly like?
I'll be fairly honest with you, I haven't driven it on iRacing. I mean, I've been twice to Le Mans, going again this year, so I know the track, but I'm going to do quite a bit of practice for that in the next coming days, and yeah, see how it goes. But of course, the big V8 going down Mulsanne is hopefully going to help things.
Absolutely. That's 2 people in a row that haven't ever driven Le Mans on iRacing. You really are missing out, just to let you know.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit of a rookie on iRacing myself as well. I've only been on it for
yeah.
just over a year.
Well, you're doing very well for a rookie, so well done indeed.
Thank you.
That concludes our interview tonight. Gabrielle, thank you very much for volunteering for an interview tonight. You've got one more question, and that is there anybody watching that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, hopefully Mum and Dad back home in Cyprus are still up and watching, so shout outs to them, shout outs to the team, lads helping me today with that strategy, just shouting down the blower to me, telling me to get in. Yeah, just everyone that's sort of helped along the way with this and last season as well, so yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us in the comments booth, and well done on your win tonight, Gabrielle. Well, good luck for next week at Le Mans.
Thank you very much, mate.
There we go, that's Bab Constantino chatting to us following his win in the feature race just then. Very good win indeed. Better in the strategy than most of his bronze category rivals. Okay, and last of all to chat to in our interviews tonight, and I spoke to this person on Tuesday following the NXTCC, and we're going to speak to him again tonight in the GT3s here. And we've got Matthew Cheverton in the comms booth with us. Now Matthew, I don't know if this has sunk in or what you've realised, but this week, 5 wins from 5 you've achieved this week. Did you realise that?
Yeah, I may have done the math with about 5 minutes to go in the race, so I'm happy I didn't jinx myself there, but yeah, I think it's good week. It's a really good week.
It certainly has been, yeah. I'd say I got a feeling that no one's done that in NXTGEN history. I got to look through the archives, but I've got a feeling that's the first time achieved. But yeah, despite that record potentially you set there, very good night tonight, Matthew. What's been the difference tonight for yourself?
The car actually works at this track. I think, which is a good thing. I think there's been quite a few tracks this season where the car's just not worked, or it's been alright, but the Porsche's been in a league of its own, so we've been on the back foot. But I think as well, I love this track. For me, Mosport is probably my top 3 best tracks on this game in the world. It's just such a fun track in anything I drive, so I think that adds to it. But yeah, it's just working car, working track, everything panned out smoothly, and we had great speed.
Certainly did. And let's talk about the Mustang for next week, because I was just talking to Gabrielle about it. So we just saw that contact moment between you and Jeffrey Kruger, actually. Let's just talk about that, actually. Yeah, that pivotal moment in the race where you and Jeffrey Kruger came together. In nice words, just chat through that instant, if you can remember the majority of it. Just chat through what happened.
I remember it. It sucks, probably both for him, because obviously setting back a little bit, and I think for myself as well, because it's a really close championship fight, and that's the first time the entire season where we've had a tap. You know, we're about 10 points now between each other in the last race. That's the first time we've had a whack together, so it's been a good record, but it kind of sucks it had to have happened. But I think it was just heat of the moment. Obviously that corner is
tricky,
deceptive and tricky, both trying to follow or just drive itself, and from my point of view he went a little bit wide, and I thought he was going to go off a bit more, so there was enough space for a big old Ford, so I may have put it down there, and I guess he wasn't expecting it, and 2 into 1 doesn't go, unfortunately, so we had a bit of a prang. I mean, well, it's obviously you never want to have contact anyway. I mean, sort of happy that was like a half spin, and then the way it happened, I sort of put him facing the right way again. But yes, you don't really want it to happen. But I mean, if he reports it's fair dinkum, it was a bit opportunistic, but yeah, shame. But I guess it's racing; it happens sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, that's all we need to know, just your perspective from it. But we were just talking about, before then, about the Mustang. Now, I'm hearing mutterings that it might actually be the more advantageous car for next week. It might have better straight line speed. How are you feeling about Le Mans next week, in terms of the car and its performance there?
I mean, on paper, it should be the fastest car on the entire grid. It's a big... Le Mans is full of, like, million-mile straights, and we're in a big muscle car. Muscle cars are obviously famous for just going in a straight line, so on paper we should be absolutely rapid and blow past everyone, but knowing balance of performance and knowing iRacing, it could be the slowest thing, and I'll be sitting there like a grandma getting overtaken in lane 1 on the M25, so we never know. I mean, Le Mans was run 2 seasons ago when the prototypes were here, and
yeah,
I think I won in the silvers in that, and that was against my teammate Mr. J-Bit, funny enough. So if that's anything to go by, then I think we have an edge over the Porsche and maybe some other cars, so fingers crossed we can at least put up a fight for the championship. I'm not calling it quits. I'm not calling it quits now, but I think my chances are a bit slim. But yeah, I mean, well, it's not over till it's over.
Well, yeah, absolutely. 12 points separate yourself and Jeffrey, pending any penalties, anything like that, if there were to be any from this race. But 12 points separate you going into next week. That means that you need to win the race and score bonus points. Well, actually, bonus points are a little bit irrelevant. And Jeff would need to finish 4th or lower. So, yeah, how you might be repeating yourself a little bit here, but how are you feeling in regards to that for next week?
The winning bit, I'm hopeful for that. After tonight's been a good booster, and history has shown my car and my speed around Le Mans is pretty good. The Jeffrey Kruger finishing 4th bit, however, that's the bit that I'm not so sure will happen. He's been unbelievably quick all season, and he's shown that, especially in sprints and qualifying. He's up there at the top end of the golds, for God's sake. All credit to him, he's put in the work and he's got the speed, and it's clearly shown. I've somehow dragged it out and kept him honest, but yeah, I mean, I have sort of, well, I wouldn't say I have knowledge, but I have a small feeling that if he finishes 4th or lower, something's gone horrendously wrong for him, because he is just in a class of his own in the silver category. So yeah, I mean,
it's one of those situations where, yeah, it's one of those situations where you need more people racing, and you need people to be on it next week, don't you? I've been in that situation myself, but all you can do is just race as hard as you can. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah, we'll go out, we'll give it a good crack, we'll have fun. I mean, the racing has been fun in itself, just with a bit of strategy and just full on brawling out. It's, and obviously having that soundtrack for 2 hours is maybe soothing's the wrong word, but it's entertaining to say the least. So
yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah, we'll go out, we'll have some fun, and then we'll see what happens at the checkered flag.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's going to conclude our interview tonight, Matt. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to who might be watching the broadcast tonight?
Yep, so obviously shout out to the team and our sponsors, Claremont, RSR. Like I say, we've done, well, this entire week's been pretty good for us. Obviously, well, 5 out of 5 for myself. Obviously, Gabriel getting the win in the bronze. Obviously, had to yell at him to pit under a full course yellow, but he got it. That's all that matters.
We did hear about that.
Yeah, he was being a bit paranoid. He's like, should I pit? I was just yelling at him, do it. So yeah, shout out to those guys. Been a great week and great achievement all round.
Fantastic. Well, good luck for next week, Matt. We'll speak to you next week, hopefully. Yeah, well done tonight as well.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
There we go, that's Matthew Cheverton, winner of both races tonight in the silver category and winner outright of all 3 races in the NXTGEN on Tuesday in the blue lobby as well. So 5 race wins he's had this week. So it's been a very successful week for him and Aztec Racing, particularly as they had 2 winners in the feature race tonight in him and Gabriel Papaconstantino, as he just mentioned. But that's going to conclude our interviews tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going to conclude our broadcast for tonight. This has been round 9 of the championship, the penultimate round of the season here at Mosport. We just had a sprint race and a feature race to line up championship battles potentially for next week. The championship situations that are heading out of this week into next week. We'll start with the gold category. It is a very healthy lead for Ben McCluskey in the championship, heading out of this week, heading into next week, a gap of 24 points between the 2 drivers heading into next week. That merely means that Ben McCluskey will only need to finish 5th or higher to secure the championship next week. 3rd place, Harry Langford, pretty much has a good grasp of 3rd place, but like most positions to be held in this championship, drivers will need to finish the races next week. Harry Langford will still need to finish to secure 3rd place next week, but it is very much in his grasp. Gaz Williams heads that battle for 4th position, which is very close between himself, Ben Elcher and Jack Pittas. Just 3 points separate them in that battle for 4th, and we'll keep an eye on that next week. Pretty much the one who finishes higher of the 3 of them will take home 4th in the championship. Mike Barber missed tonight, but he drops to 7th in the championship. The drop round falling out of favour for him, and he is quite a way off 4th spot, and it will require good positions for him to take that back. Jamie Dory in 8th position with Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 9th, and Jake Pitt rises up to 10th position. In the silver category, it is a 12-point lead in the championship for Jeffrey Kruger. He merely needs to finish 3rd or higher to win the championship next week. Even with bonus points, if he finishes 3rd next week and Cheverton won the race with bonus points, it would go on count back, for which Jeffrey Kruger would win. Cheverton in 2nd place there. Strong season, strong night and a strong week for him. And Matthew Addy puts himself further into the lead of that 3rd place battle from Phil McDougall. 3rd place held by Matthew Addy and Phil McDougall in 4th place, as we just mentioned. Alan McCain has fallen out of that battle for 3rd place potentially. He holds 5th, from George Stone having his best night of the season, his highest scoring round of the season as well. 6th place for him. Nigel Stock falls to 7th position. He is missing the rest of the season, however, due to commitments outside of racing. And Jason Raff in 8th position, with Paul Williams in 9th and Mark Baker in 10th. The championship is secured in the bronze category for Adam Wilson-Weir. He's on 322 points. A very sizable lead to Jonathan Berry in 2nd position. He has got a 12-point lead in that 2nd place to Robert Savage. And then a further 10 points down is Gabriel Papaconstantino with one of his better results of the season. He's 4th place. Stein Vaten's in 5th position. Followed by Mark Sykes in 6th position, Danny Switzer in 7th position, Michael Evangeli in 8th position, and Simon Hunt in 9th. Elwyn Sykes, last season's bronze category champion, is 10th. In the team's championship, CSA Team Woza lead the championship heading into next week by just 29 points. That can be turned around next week, but look at the points gaps between the top 3 from Canadian Tire tonight. 75, 75 and 79, just 4 points separated the top 3 out of tonight. So realistically, CSA have got one hand on the trophy for the team's championship. Mission R powered by Maud's in 2nd position, with George Stone and Adam Wilson-Weir both getting good points tonight. And Aztec Racing, they also had a good night with 3 wins to their team tonight. They hold 3rd place. Quatermass Motorsport hold 4th position, and Mission R Esports are in 5th. Thank you very much for watching tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have got Le Mans up next. The final round of the championship. It's a 2-hour endurance. It will start at 7:40 p.m. UK time next week on the 29th of May. The final round of the championship. Thank you very much for watching tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a champion crowned in Adam Wilson-Weir in the bronze category, but we have still got some champions to crown. Will it be Ben McCluskey in the gold category, or will it be Stephan Wessels? In the silver category, will it be Jeffrey Kruger, or will it be Matthew Cheverton? Find out next week at Le Mans for round 10 of the championship. This has been Next Gen Racing GT3 League. I've been Alex Everett, your commentator tonight, and a big thank you goes to our partner sponsors and affiliates here at Next Gen Racing: PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Mosport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC, Doble Motorcycles. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week for Le Mans. Good night.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, that's all from us here at Next Gen Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.